Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. It's called Project Freedom, and it starts today. Announced by President Trump, the goal is to shatter Iran's stranglehold on a strategic Mideast waterway.
The U.S. military said it would support merchant vessels to transit freely through the Strait of Hormuz. A statement from U.S. Central Command said the aim was to restore freedom of navigation through the vital waterway while maintaining America's own blockade of Iranian ports. Donald Trump had earlier described the initiative as a humanitarian gesture to help ships and crews that had become locked up during the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran.
That's a BBC's Yolande Nell. It seems that most Americans stand with President Trump on Iran.
A Harvard Caps Harris poll finds 74% of voters say the United States is winning its conflict with Iran. The survey shows majority support for U.S. airstrikes, with 52% backing the attacks and 54% calling them justified. 57% approve of the naval blockade on ships bound for Iran. Voters also want tough conditions for talks, including ending support for terror groups and halting executions of protesters. Ken Lorman reported.
Gunfire at a party in an Oklahoma City suburb last night sent at least 10 people to the hospital. Happened near Arcadia Lake in Edmond, Oklahoma. 2 gunmen, no arrests. A spokesman for Rudy Giuliani is asking for prayer for the former New York City mayor, presidential lawyer, and advisor. The 81-year-old Giuliani is hospitalized in critical but stable condition in Florida. There's been no word on what landed him in the hospital. President Trump calls America's mayor fabulous and a warrior. Gas prices continue their upward march, averaging $4.45 a gallon this morning. That, according to AAA. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures down 91 points. The S&P futures up 9. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Questions over the whereabouts of a couple of American military personnel in the northwest corner of Africa.
The United States African Command says 2 U.S. service members who took part in annual multinational military exercises are missing in southwestern Morocco. The Moroccan military says they went missing around 9 p.m. Saturday, and the U.S., Morocco, and other countries have launched a search and rescue operation. AFRICOM says the War Games exercises began in April in Tunisia and were also in Ghana and Senegal before Morocco, where they're scheduled to wrap up soon. AFRICOM says they've involved active duty members of different branches of the U.S. military and would not say what unit or branch the missing service members belong to. I'm Donna Warder.
The World Health Organization says a suspected hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship in the Atlantic Ocean has killed 3 people, sickened at least 3 others. News and analysis at townhall.com. Want to see the Liberty Bell on America's big birthday but don't have the time or money for a pilgrimage to Philadelphia? Well, have no fear. Chances are there's one at a state capitol, museum, or even a fire station near you.
It won't be the original, but it'll be a dead ringer. For a savings bond drive in 1950, the Treasury Department commissioned copies of the famously broken bell, one for each U.S. state and several territories. Except for the serial numbers, they were faithful replicas, right down to the pass and stow trademark and a faux crack. There's a small but growing group of bell hunters who've dedicated themselves to visiting as many of the replicas as possible.
Correspondent Bernie Bennett. President Trump promising to release new UFO records that he says will be very interesting. He says the files will be coming very soon after he directed the Pentagon to share documents relating to UFOs and extraterrestrial life, the action being cheered by some members of Congress. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
This show knows things before anybody else is transmitting it. I said 5 minutes after we make a deal, the price of crude oils can go down $20 a barrel. Well, it went down $20 a barrel today.
It did.
15 days from now, and if it looks like we have a good deal, it'll go down another $25 a barrel.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
And that's a good sign for us, obviously, and for the free world.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Happy Monday morning, listening family. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobgood. Time for a look at weather and sports. We'll start, as we always do, with where I am in Richmond, Virginia, where the high today will be 80 degrees and quote-unquote pleasant. I don't know. I think it'd be a whole lot more pleasant if the high would be something like 70 degrees instead of 80, but whatever. Low of 56. Right now the temperature is 47. Squirrels batted 500 over the weekend in Altoona. Winning 2, dropping 2. Moving on to the nation's capital. The high will be 79 degrees today, low of 58. Right now the temperature is 53. The Nats yesterday avoided the series sweep against the Brew Crew, topping Milwaukee 3-2. In Atlanta, the Braves keep rolling, sweeping the Rockies over the weekend. Braves head to Seattle tonight for a series. First pitch there at 9:40. High today in Atlanta of 79, a low of 53. Right now, the temperature is 51 degrees. In the city of brotherly love, the Phils were winners over the Marlins yesterday, 7-2. The teams will play again tonight at 6:40. High in Philadelphia today of 75, a low of 58. Right now, the temperature is 49 degrees. All right, Morgantown, your Mountaineer baseball team swept K-State over the weekend. Got to be happy about that. High today in Morgantown of 74 degrees, a low of 61 with a passing shower. Right now, the temperature is 50 degrees with light rain. All right, my Yinzers, the Buccos. I don't know what to tell you. What a schizophrenic team. They lose 5 straight, and then they sweep the Reds over the weekend. Winners of 3 in a row. 1-0 yesterday afternoon. A high temperature today in Pittsburgh of 74 degrees, a low of 60. As with Morgantown, maybe a passing shower. Right now, the temperature in the 412 is 53 degrees. Hey, bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show for the best insight, analysis, and picks. Watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. This has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by the John Fredericks Show. And as I say every May 4th, everyone, live long and prosper.
December 1st, 2025, Operation Metro Surge begins with thousands of ICE and CBP agents flooding Minnesota, welcomed by the local citizenry for helping to make their neighborhoods safe from rapists, murderers, and drug dealers from faraway lands illegally leeching off our system. Ahem. February 12th, Border Czar Tom Homan.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Since then, local and state governments have been feverishly working to take more of everyone else's money to give to people who hid inside their homes because they're here illegally and didn't want to be caught, or believed the Democrat rhetoric that legal citizens were being rounded up and hauled away in massive numbers. The Patch News feed reports that of the $7 million the Minneapolis City Council approved to supposedly support business owners and employees affected by Metro Surge, $1 million of it will be split by 34 local entities to, quote, help neighborhood business districts bring customers back through marketing campaigns, branding, public events, and direct outreach to businesses, close quote. What? Noticing from outside the box, there are 34 community organizations in the city of Minneapolis alone? Given what we now know about the inner workings of Minneapolis community activism, it's not a stretch to speculate that the checks will be written and sent out in haste, likely all to the same post office box mailing address, and the money will be used to provide exactly nothing to anyone. Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President. Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Don't you love mornings and getting up here and having me on? Because I really love having you guys on. Great to have you with us. It is Monday, May 4th, May Day. Well, that's long and gone. Now we're into May 4th, Mother's Day coming up for those of you that might have forgotten on Sunday. That's also Joe's birthday. Joe's birthday, Mother's Day, same day. Pretty cool, right? It's all good when it happens. Anyway, it's great to have everybody with us today. Got to see my son yesterday. Boy, a tough loss at home against Michigan. Just a tough loss. I mean, 7-5 going to the top of the ninth. 2 outs. We pick a guy. We pick a guy off trying to steal second base. He's out. The game is over. The players are in the dugout celebrating, and then there's a challenge, and it gets overturned. And then with 2 outs and a guy on second, they rally for 3 runs and win the game. And then we leave 2 guys on in the bottom of the ninth. It's been a tough season for Maryland, but they missed Joe yesterday. I'll tell you that. Would have been great to get him in there with a left-handed batter up and top of the ninth inning, get that final out. But it is what it is. He's his rehab's doing fine. He's taking it slow, not pitching this summer, determined to get healthy. And Maryland does it the right way. I mean, one thing about Maryland, we're not winning right now. We got a good young team. I love the team. I love the coaches. I love the school. I love everything about it. And they do things right. And look, they don't have the money that some of these other schools have for NIL. I get it, but they do things right. They try to develop their players. And a big fan of the coach, big fan of pitching coach Jimmy Jackson. These guys really, they've just had, 28% of the team is injured. I mean, they've just had a tough season. But we're a good young team. We're going to be back next season. I'm fired up about it. And I told Joe yesterday, I mean, you got to get healthy, dude. You haven't really pitched college baseball now in 2 years. You've missed 2 years. He'll take a red shirt this time, get a 5th year of eligibility, so he'll have 2 more. But you've not pitched really but a couple innings of college baseball in 2 years. You got to get yourself healthy and stop screwing around and trying to rush back for no reason. Take the summer, build up that lat, get it perfectly healed, come back in the fall and the spring and be dominant, and then help this team win games. Great to have everybody with us. Hey, we're going to have a great week today. Everything is going to be great. Here's the one thing I want to tell you, right? I just want to tell you straight off the bat, okay? Listen up. It's all good. It's all good. Things don't look good, but I'm telling you, it's all good. That is my message for today. Truth and clarity. These fake polls that you're getting, Trump is in the tank. It's the worst performance ever. Everybody hates him. The economy's tanking. Democrats are going to win 700 seats. There's going to be no Republicans. They're going to be 435 to nothing. They're going to win everything. Everybody's voting for the Democrats. They're going to win this. They're going to win that. Look at the poll numbers. It's nonsense. Okay. First of all, these polls that are coming out, they're fake polls. Just like that Iowa poll that came out on Sunday before Tuesday election that said Harris was up by 3 and Trump beat her by 15. These are fake polls. These are designed to build a narrative, to get you discouraged, to get more money for the Democrats. And the fake news, I've been telling you this now for a year. They've kicked in the 5th gear. They're in overdrive. They lie about everything. They don't care. They want them out. And guess what? Gas prices today are lower than they were under Biden. As bad as it is, they're lower than they were under Biden. And when they were $5 a gallon under Biden, we didn't hear a peep out of anybody. And when they were $1.90 in Roanoke, Virginia, $1.89 before the Iran conflict, they didn't say a word, the fake news. Now all of a sudden gas is, $3.88 and everybody's going to die at once. I mean, the thing is so ridiculous. But I tell you what, people are going to see through it. They're going to see through it. And this economy is going to boom. Gas prices are going to plummet. We're going to win this war. These are the things that are coming down the pike. And we got a hell of a shot now to win these midterms because I believe Virginia is getting overturned. On the Virginia gang on, was it Friday? Was it Friday, Dan? Right? The Virginia gang on Friday, Morrissey predicted a 7-0 vote. Peterson said it was going to be 4-3 favor somebody. I think he's told me before it's getting knocked down, but he can't really say that on the air because he's still a Democrat, blah, blah, blah. And he's appointed to certain things. Morrissey doesn't care. Morrissey said this thing is so egregious, it's going down 7-0. We'll see what happens. I kind of go with Joe on this stuff. Joe's pretty good at this stuff. Morrissey is a beast at this stuff, an absolute beast. So we'll see what happens. But I think that's gone. I think we hold those seats. Now, let's give the love to the governors that have called special sessions. Louisiana, Jeff Landry, yay, 10, gold star, hero. Put off the election. Put it off. Now, we're not going to have a primary. We're going to put it off, deal with it. We're going to get new maps because the maps I got, guess what? They're illegal. Kay Ivey, Alabama. Put off the election. Special session. Got a district illegal. Out. Thank you. That's 2. Shocker. Tennessee. That's right, Governor. Would you like a job in the administration? I know you'd really like a job there. I know, Governor, you'd like to be a cabinet member. I know you'd like to go there and like run something, because this is it for you. You got 2 terms. Blackburn's going to be governor. She called for it. So you did the right thing. Tennessee, special session. Oh, my senators are tired. They have real jobs. They're tired. They have to go home now. No, I don't think so. Tell you what, if you don't want to have a special session and go home, retire. Play to win the game. That's right, Coach. Herman Edwards, one of my favorite coaches ever. You play to win the game. I don't care if you have no wins. You play to win. Exactly. You play to win the game. So, got a special session there. McMaster says you're going to take a hard look at it. Excuse me, there's nothing to look at. Pam Everett, she's growing on me. Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina. She's growing on me. Just saying. Wants me to endorse her. What do you guys think? She called for a special session. Get rid of this map. Clyburn, see ya. That's right. And the Democrats, well, they got nowhere to go. 0. They can't gain any more seats. They've already gerrymandered them all. That's the beauty of this. So how many seats are we going to pick up? I don't know, 8, 10, a lot. DeSantis, in your face, dude. Stuck it where the sun don't shine. Hey, DeSantis doesn't mess around. Don't you want courage? Don't you want fighters? Aren't you always complaining in the Republican Party we don't have any fighters like John Thune? He doesn't fight. Aren't you always complaining about that? Well, when you got fighters, celebrate them. It doesn't matter what they've done in the past. Don't hold a grudge. This is not time for grudges. Hold grudges later, sometime down the road. Not now. We got to go in the midterms. No grudges. That's why I said Friday, we got to change our thinking. IOUs, tear them up. The debts, you're holding somebody's debt, abolish it. Start over. It's all free. Let's go. Let's all get on the same team. We're not going to agree on everything. We don't have to. Let's stop talking about this and that, and let's get together and win this thing. So I think we can do it. I think this war is going to end very successfully. Iran's collapsing. It's a joke. 14-point plans to nowhere. I mean, come on. Just go in there, wipe them out. Now Trump says, which he should, all right, I'm now going to use my Navy and escort ships through the straits. And if you try to shoot us, we will blow you to smithereens and kill you all. Simple. Should have done that a month ago. I don't know what the hell we're waiting for. Let's get these Marines in. Let's take these islands. Let's bomb them into oblivion and end this thing. And get out their nuclear enrichment facilities. Let's get out the uranium. And then go home. And then they're a toothless tiger. Who cares what they do? Who cares runs that regime? I could care less. And so should you. All we care about is getting out their ability to do a nuclear bomb, opening up the straits and controlling it. Right? Oh, it's going to cost money. Well, let's take our troops out of Germany. Let's take them out of Japan. Let's take them out of Spain. Save that money, put it in the strait. Be talking to me about how much money it's going to cost. Get real. We got to take charge here. Winners, losers. We got to be the winner. They got to be the loser. All these polls that come out because they know they're done. Wasn't it amazing that when this SCOTUS ruling went down, that all of a sudden every poll in history comes out saying that Trump's the worst president ever, lowest polling numbers ever, Republicans worst ever, and they're going to lose 1 million seats. Didn't you find that odd that the next 2 days all the fake polls come out? It's a joke. I look at these, I laugh. Trump only has 33% approval rating, the lowest in the history of the world. Nobody's ever been low. He's lower than Mussolini when Italy was collapsing. That's what somebody said on TV. I mean, do you really think he's got 30% approval rating? Walk down your neighborhood. Okay, stop. This is such nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's the greatest, the most consequential president in our lifetime, ever. And his approval rating is 30%. Why? Because gas is $3.89? Give me a break. The economy is booming. And we're trying to fix the Middle East forever, once and for all. What exactly has he done? Get out illegals? Well, that's what you voted for. What the hell do you think he was going to do? Nothing? So exactly, why does he have a 30% approval rate? Well, gas is $3.89. Well, it's $5 under Biden. This is the spin here, and we guess was $1.89 in Roanoke, Virginia, a few months ago. There wasn't a word out of anybody, not a word out of the fake news. Oh, but there's going to be kumbaya after the White House Correspondents Association dinner shooting. Oh, we're all going to get together. Like one day, that thing was over when they got up on Sunday morning. I mean, come on. This is what you're fighting every day. You're fighting the fake news. You're not going to stop fighting it. It never stops. 888-480-JOHN. I got spring in my step today because I think we got a hell of a shot to win this thing. I think we pull this out of the fire. And let me tell you the other good news. This is good news on top of good news on top of good news. So much good news on a Monday, so much winning. Right? Cut through the fakers. Once the census comes, oh, jeez. Oh, my God. I'm waiting for this census, baby. You know how many red seats are going to pick up seats, congressional seats, when the census comes? Especially when SCOTUS rules that you can't count illegals in the census, which you shouldn't because they're not citizens. I mean, they're not here. They shouldn't be here. But even if they do, it doesn't matter. You know how many seats we're going to pick up? Another 20. Everybody's moving to these red states. I guess Ann and I are the last ones out, last ones in. Too funny. We're going to pick up another 20 seats. They're done. They've already gerrymandered themselves into oblivion. They got nowhere to go. This is why this is hilarious. And that's why I'm fired up. Good morning, Dan. Now, Dan, when I send you my rundown, I always start it with good morning. I think. Don't I, Dan?
You do, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I always start it with good morning. You know who told me that?
Who was that?
Kiara.
Okay.
She was 1, 2, 3 producers ago, and I'd send her stuff, and she'd say, why don't you start with good morning? And I'm like, you know what, Kiara? This is years ago. You know what? When you're right, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. So now I always start with good morning. And I always start with a little piece of scripture on top.
Right.
I know Mike reads it.
Mike Coleman?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a devout Christian.
Okay. Yeah.
You were working on you.
I just realized, oh man, it's 30 minutes into the show. I didn't even say good morning yet. I was like bad on me, bad Dan. I gotta say,
God brought you here, so all these Christians around you could help you in your growing your faith. That's why you're here. God works in very strange ways, Dan. You never know what he's doing. It's always good though. He's got some cooking for you that's really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if I haven't told you, because I was out this weekend, and you're doing a great job. You really are.
You too. I appreciate that. Yeah. No. Hey, as I've told you, I'm thrilled to be here, and I hope I'm doing a semi decent job so far.
Ann loves you.
Oh yeah. Well, the happy Dan.
She loves when you send her emails.
Oh, good. Okay.
And she doesn't like emails. She doesn't like the emails. She loves your emails. I always read Dan's emails. They're so nice. Keeps me in the loop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I try to write her every now and just say, hey Ann, how you doing? Just checking in, make sure all's well.
Yeah, she likes that.
Good.
Everybody else is afraid of her. Except the cat.
Except the cat.
We got big cat things going on today. I told her to call in because she's on me about the cat. Today's Sammy's first trip to the Washington veterinarian.
Oh, well, good luck to Sammy.
He's got to have his checkup and check his teeth, he's got an overbite, got to check that. He's got some plaque going on because, we're going to get in there. They're going to put him on the scale. They're going to tell me he's overweight. You feed him too much, blah, 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 blah. So I got to go through that. Plus, there's no way to get him there but to walk him there in the stroller. So we'll be strolling down the street 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the cat in the cat stroller.
Right. Well, as long as the veterinarian doesn't tell you, we don't need more cats, we need more dogs. We need more dogs, not more cats.
No, this is a cat vet. No, we don't go to any.
Give me more dogs.
Sammy goes to a cat.
A cat specialist. Okay.
It's a cat specialist. Not that there's anything wrong with him. He sleeps all day. What could be wrong? What could be wrong? Right? That it's getting a little up there in age. 888-480, John, you want to weigh in? 888-480-5646, Danny. And we got a bunch of people on hold. We got Steve, we got John, we got somebody else. No, that's it. 888-480, John, 888-480, John. When I get back, we'll take a few calls, and then Spirit Airlines. Get the footage clip ready.
Right now, download the new WV.
Ponder this. Imagine for a moment that you are lying on your deathbed. This is a great exercise to do each day in preparation for your very last day on earth. Think about the tests you've ever taken, the job interviews you've had, and the many life celebrations you've been a part of. In all of these cases, preparation makes for successful outcomes. The same is true for dying. We must prepare every day for the day we are to die, in case today might be our last. Make sure you are right with the Lord first and foremost. If you are a Catholic, make sure you are in the state of grace by receiving the sacrament of confession often. Next, make sure you are right with your family, friends, and all those who are in your world. Apologize to those who have offended you and mend relationships that need healing. Make each day a preparation for your last day on earth, because it just may be. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Buddy Carter, warrior, great guy.
President Trump and Buddy Carter are working to help Georgians keep more of what they earn by passing the largest tax cut in history, eliminating taxes on tips and overtime, and making the child tax credit permanent.
Buddy Carter, warrior, great guy.
From day one, Buddy Carter has stood with President Trump on his mission to make life more affordable for working families. But while President Trump and Buddy Carter were protecting our wallets, Congressman Mike Collins was abusing them. Congressman Collins is under federal investigation for misusing taxpayer funds to benefit himself and his cronies. According to the investigation report, Congressman Mike Collins, quote, may have violated federal law by shelling out government funds to one of his top aides. Georgia families have had enough of wasteful, corrupt career politicians. We just can't trust or afford Mike Collins. Paid for by Buddy Carter for Senate.
I'm Buddy Carter, and I approve this message.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right again?
A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
You're back on the John Fredericks Media Network and all the John Fredericks Media apps. Thanks for being with us. As always, don't forget, we're on all kinds of TV stations too, right? Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV. Just download my app, John Fredericks. Getter Live, Rumble Live, Twitter. What do we? Getter Live, Rumble Live, X Live, Rumble Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, I think. Are we on that? I think we are. Somebody told me we are. I don't remember, but all kinds of live everywhere. Good to have you with us, as always. We're going to get the phone lines, but first, Danny, let's get to the Pete Buttigieg when he was Secretary of Transportation. Pete Buttigieg, when he basically him and your buddy up there in Massachusetts, Elizabeth. Well, they both blasted Elizabeth Warren. They blasted the Spirit JetBlue merger, saying it was bad for competition. So we were in favor of it because we knew Spirit was losing money, and better they be taken over by a solvent company like JetBlue, which is another discount airline. Not like they were being taken over by United or American. They were being taken over by another discount airline. So they didn't let the sale go through, and now Spirit Airlines goes out of business. And then they blame Trump. The same half-witted, imbecile, moronic crackpots in the Senate, like Warren, that wouldn't let the sale go through, now blame gas prices went to $3.89 and therefore they're out of business, and blame Trump. I mean, do you think the American public is this stupid? You can't be this stupid. It is impossible for you to be this dumb. All they had to do was let the merger go through. The airline is saved. You know, Trump couldn't get a deal. It's not our business to be bailing out companies that fail. The CEO knew they were failing. That's why he tried to do the merger. He tried to be quiet so he could save those jobs and save what was remaining of the company. He didn't do it. Couldn't do it. Tried to do it. But these are the imbeciles running our government. Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg, whatever the hell his name is. This segment brought to you by Starlink MIDI, sat123.com. I love my Starlink MIDI. I mean, this is like, I tell you what, you got to be cutting edge. Do you have cable TV? Like, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, like, why do we even have cable? But I tell you what, if you're traveling around, you're in your car, whatever, this Starlink Mini, this thing is unbelievable. I mean, we don't have the Mini on the bus. We got the big one, but I got the Mini, and that fits right in my bag. And I travel with that Starlink Mini, and it's very inexpensive. And it doesn't matter where you are wired in, and your upload and your download speed is phenomenal. Not that garbage you get in the hotel. That's junk. I mean, you can't upload it. You can't download. It's slow. This thing, it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter how many bars there is. Nothing matters. All you got to do is have a sky or a window. That's the beauty of this thing. Window's fine. Just give it a window, travel with it, take it in your car. You're good to go 100% of the time. I love my Starlight Mini. It's a great piece of equipment. And you know what? As technology gets better, this stuff gets cheaper, right? This is very affordable. I mean, it's almost as low as my jetpack, and I'm kind of like over the jetpack thing. They're not that good either. But, technology, you got to keep up with it. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Okay, let's get to the phone lines. Steve Areno in Virginia. Steve, you're live.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Godzilla.
Thank you.
Happy Monday. I'll keep this short so that John can get to work on time. But you asked about should you support Pam? Yes. Nancy Mace needs to go to D.C. and fight rhinos. She doesn't need to be there as the governor. So support Pam. And back a little while ago, we talked about why gas prices were so high and the price of oil and all of this, and the speculators, and it's like we're not getting all of our oil not getting practically any oil from the Gulf. So why are our prices so high? And I looked into things, and it's like, okay, oil is denominated in U.S. currency, which BRICS, all of our enemies around the world have been trying to take oil into a different currency to basically destroy the dollar. And so we're paying higher prices because not only the speculators and stuff, but because oil has to be denominated in U.S. dollars around the world. And it would seem kind of strange, I guess, to the world if we made them all pay higher dollar prices than we paid ourselves. And so I really don't care what people think, but it could take the dollar down in a bad way if we did indeed, pay much lower prices than everybody else was being forced to pay because of speculation and Iran and China and Russia trying to screw us over.
I mean, it's not a bad. There's a logic to your argument. There's a logic there. Better logic is end the war, open up the straits, bring down the gas prices, and be done with it. And then they can't bitch about it. They'll have to bitch about something else. That's the thing. Like, if you take it off the table, stop bitching. Just take it off the table. Gas is going to go back to before the midterms. Gas is going to go back down to $1.89 again. And then what are they going to do?
Yes.
Then they got nothing. The Democrats have nothing. They are so vacuous, and they're liars. And I'm telling you the other thing, and then I'll get to John. This Spamberger thing is going to nail them, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a hoax. The affordability thing's a hoax. They got in and raised taxes on everything. One of the parents at the game yesterday at College Park, Maryland, him and his wife are from Leesburg. He's a Republican, obviously. But he said to me, he said, I got to get out of Virginia. So I just got to get out. I can't take it. He said they have raised taxes on everything that moves. There's a tax on it. He said, what are they doing with the money? I thought we had all these data centers. Like, what is the purpose of this? It's not affordability. Look, this is all going to blow up in their face. Steve, thank you. Steve in Virginia, thank you. Johnny, Jersey, Monmouth County, go.
Hey, John, how you doing? Good morning, buddy. Monday morning. Hey, listen, not only are we going to win the midterms, okay, but you take out the gerrymandering, we're going to actually, I'm saying not only we're going to pick up those seats, we're going to pick up additional seats as well as Senate seats. The Democrats have been on full display lately. And Mandami in New York City, and this is exactly what I was hoping for, that's like a billboard for the Republican Party, that entire fiasco that's going on. And if you notice, I mean, I'm talking to everybody I know. everybody feels so much better now than they felt even a couple of months ago. You could just hear a pep in their, you see a pep in their step and you hear it in their voices. Trump is on offense, 24/7, full throttle. This has been well thought through. Now they're going to start ramping up the deportations again, from what I understand, but in a little bit more of a strategic way, which, hey, needs to be done. And we are we're seeing accountability everywhere. The Democrats and all those hearings with people, you want them speaking as much as humanly possible, because the more they speak, the more like you want to regurgitate. And you just pointed it out when you were talking to Steve there. Virginia, New York City, people are seeing this nationally and saying, do I want this to happen to my state? So, listen, just get out of their way. All the polls, they're completely BS. Nobody believes any. Listen, the SPLC basically just defeats every argument they've ever had any time. And they're still trying to drum up the fake racism, but nobody believes it anymore because it's all manufactured. All the black pillars and the doomers that you were calling out, they're being friggin', exercised out of the party. So, listen, we just got to stay focused, and God willing, I'll never see another Democrat majority or president in my lifetime.
In the great words of Napoleon Bonaparte, when you see the enemy imploding, get out of their way. It's basically get out of their way. John, you nailed it, because they're exposing themselves. I forgot the word. You didn't say exposed. What was the word you used? I think it started with an E. What did you say?
I don't know. I was on a rant there. I said all I said is the Mandami thing. He's like a billboard. You know what I mean?
They're basically, they can't help themselves now. They see an opening and they're all exposing themselves for what they are. These people, the stuff they're coming out with is insane. This guy that's running for U.S. Senate in Maine is going to lose, not even going to be close. Even Barney Frank, who, by the way, is in hospice. When you go to hospice, you go there to die. In hospice, doing interviews. Do you know that the Democrats of today, the communists of today, actually make Barney Frank look like half a moderate? He blasted this guy in Maine. He's like, this is not a Democrat. I don't know what this guy is. He's nuts. This is Barney Frank said he's dying in hospice. He's still doing interviews. Unbelievable. This is what they stand for, just crazy stuff. And why? See, the Mandami thing, I don't think is going to have the impact nationally, you think, because it's kind of like New York City and he's Mandami and it's different. So Spanberger is more of what is a bigger albatross for them because she ran as a moderate. He ran as a communist. He said all the things he's going to do, and they voted for him. Spanberger didn't do any of that. That's the problem they've got with her. She didn't say any of what Mandami said. Mandami's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, raise taxes on everybody and give stuff out for free. That's what he said, and that's what he's doing. She said the opposite. That's why this thing is going to hang around their neck like an albatross. All you got to do is look at whatever they say, look at her, because it's all lies. They're going to saddle you with taxes, and they've already said all we're going to do is investigate and impeach. That's going to be our 2 years. Stop Trump, investigate and impeach. That's it. That's all we're going to do. How's that help your life? It doesn't, John. But John, as always, you nailed it. Thank you. My best to your wife, Michelle. John, and have a great day. Robin in Virginia, line 3. Robin, you're live.
Hey, John, I'm glad you picked me up today. I'm glad you started talking about the census. That is the biggest problem for the Democrats, and let me tell you why. If you go back, if you've done genealogy and you've done the census, they run hand in hand. Back in 1867, John Lewis's great-great-grandfather, Tobias Carter, registered to vote and voted. Okay? Remember that. Angela Davis, the biggest race baiter in America, her census proved that she was a descendant of slave owners and Revolutionary War soldiers, and her family came over on the Plymouth, the boat that landed in Plymouth. So you go back to the census, and they like to do the race baiting bullshit. The 2020 census, and I am a census enumerator. I work for the Department of Commerce. There were 5.71 million black millionaires in America, according to the 2020 census. So if America is such a racist country, how is that even an option? And you go back into the censuses and you dig in, and you find out the majority of slave owners were black. They were black. The first documented slave owner in America is Anthony Johnson here in Virginia. He had 5 slaves, and the documents are out there for anybody to see. He had 5 slaves, 4 were white. He was in the court documents because his slave Jasper was running away, and he wanted him labeled a slave for life, and he was running away because he was beating him.
What does this have to do with the census?
Facts of slavery need to be
What does
told
this have to
exactly
do?
the way the documents
I'm sorry, Robin.
show them.
I'm not getting this. What on earth does this have to do with the 2030 census?
It has to everything, because the Democrats like to take the census and switch it to themselves to concrete the numbers. The census exposes them, is what I'm saying. You go back to how can John Lewis's great-great-grandfather vote, and then all of a sudden he can't vote. You go back and it was the Democrats.
That has nothing to do. That's irrelevant. That has nothing to do with the 2030 census. The 2030, you got a half right, Robin. That the 2030 census is going to put another 10 to 20 Republican seats in red states and take them away from blue states, because people are moving out of there and going to the red states. I mean, I don't know what happened in the Mayflower, or how that's got anything to do with the census coming up. I mean, I understand your numeric veracity, but it's irrelevant to this conversation as far as I'm concerned. Census is the census. This isn't about race. This is about numbers. This is just pure numbers. If 700,000 more people move into South Carolina and 700,000 people move out of California, they lose a seat and South Carolina gains a seat. That's what the census is now. That's all. And the reason, and they knew it was coming, and the reason why they opened the borders was to get more people in blue states to keep their majority, or to keep the Congress members they have. That's why Biden opened up the borders, or the Autopin did, or whoever did it, Garland, all these people. That's why they opened up the borders. Simple. And it didn't matter, even with those people in, now we're getting them out. That's why they're fighting to keep them for the census. But then people are moving into the red states. And this is why I have Chairman's Corner. This is why I have these chairmen on. Everyone that comes on are telling me the people that are moving to our red states are not Democrats. They're Republicans getting out of Democrat, and they're registering as Republicans in a massive way. You saw it in Florida. You saw it in Texas. You're going to see it in South Carolina and other states as well. Unfortunately, nobody wants to move to West Virginia. I wish they would. They don't want to. Too bad. It's a great state. But look, I don't think the Mayflower and who did something in 1710, 1780 has anything to do with any of this. But I do appreciate the call, Robin. So thank you. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. And but Robin's got a half right, because when this census comes down the pike in 2030, and then you get rid of these minority-majority districts, they're done. You're not going to get a Democrat majority in the House of Representatives in our lifetime. Nor are you going to get rhinos. So stop about the rhinos. This is it's passing. It's gone. They're still there until they retire or we get them out. And some of them we need to keep, like Susan Collins, because the alternative is this guy who is a revolutionary communist. That's the alternative. So I'll take Susan Collins any day of the week, and I'll go up there to help her. You bet your ass I will. Because I'm a realist. I deal in the real world, not in clickbait, not in nonsense, not in conspiracies. Susan Collins is better than the revolutionary communist running against her. Compared to him, she's Reagan incarnate, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm for Collins, period. As I should be, as any rational person would be. Rational. Not conspiracy, not clickbait, not I do caps and the getter chat and all that nonsense. Truth and clarity. We gotta win these seats, and some states you're not going to get who you want. Now, here's what you're going to get in Maine. LePage is running, and he's going to win that seat, that congressional seat. Former Governor LePage, great guy. Been on my show. I got to get him on again. Great guy. Says he was Trump before Trump. So you got to take the okay with the great. LePage is going to be great. See, every news article that you read now, every Politico. When I go to Politico, every single article, right down the line, it doesn't matter what they're covering. They could be covering the hockey game. It's anti-Trump. You go to Washington Post, every article, anti-Trump. New York Times, anti-Trump. LA Times, anti-Trump. Right down the line. Never The Hill, anti-Trump. Every single one. How bad your life is, how horrible things are, how terrible he is, the worst president ever. Of course, gas prices are $3.89. He's now the worst president ever. They were $5 under Biden, but auto pen was great. See how stupid this is? And what are they going to do when gas prices go down to $1.89? This is why they're boxed in. They have nothing to offer anybody on anything. Somebody tell me one thing they're going to do other than impeach 8 people. One thing they're going to do to make your life better. One thing. Spamberger didn't. Answer nothing. Nothing. People are not stupid. The fake news wants you to think that the American voter are morons. Unfortunately for us, unfortunately for them, they're not. And we're going to see through all this stuff. Oh, the Trump voters don't come out unless Trump's on the ballot. Well, they got their butts out in Virginia for a referendum you couldn't even understand. False. It's another falsehood. They're feeding you these falsehoods to discourage you. But I want to fire you up because we are going to win these midterms. I think we're going to, I'm with John. We're going to gain seats. When this is said and done, this is going to be, 26 is going to be a transformational election. We're defying all odds. Republicans keep both majorities and gain seats when this is said and done. And our people are going to come out in massive numbers. You know why? Because they know if they don't, their life is going to go to hell in the handbasket. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. Truth and clarity, my friends. You get it right here. Don't be beholden to the whiners and the naysayers. Wah! Forget about it. We're going to win. John Fredericks Media Network. Stay with us.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Amit Thomason. Iran is not at all pleased by President Trump's Project Freedom initiative, the goal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to ship traffic.
President Trump says the project aims to assist neutral and innocent countries affected by the Iran war. Iran has rejected it. The president also says ongoing discussions with Iran could lead to positive outcomes. A cargo ship near the strait was attacked by a small craft early Sunday, that according to British military. Iran denies the attack, saying a ship was stopped for a documents check.
Correspondent Ken Lorman. We don't know why he's hospitalized, but Rudy Giuliani is in critical but stable condition in a Florida hospital. At least 10 people hurt. Shooting last night. Party in Edmond, Oklahoma. So far, no arrests. An ongoing investigation answers a key question about the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack.
Authorities have determined that buckshot from the gun of the man charged with trying to storm the White House Correspondents Association dinner in an attempt to kill President Trump struck a Secret Service agent. That word comes from the federal prosecutor overseeing the investigation. Last week, Janine Pirro said there was no evidence the agent was hit by friendly fire during the incident at the Washington Hotel on April 25th. But the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia went beyond that, saying a shot from Cole Allen's weapons hit the officer's bullet-resistant vest. That officer survived. Allen was injured during the attack, but was not shot. I'm Julie Walker.
The United Airlines plane was coming in too low yesterday afternoon at Newark Liberty Airport. The jet clipped a light pole. The pole fell onto a semi-truck on the New Jersey Turnpike. Nobody on the plane hurt. The trucker suffered only minor injuries. Watching Wall Street this morning, Dow futures down 213 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
European leaders are meeting amid the ongoing wars in Ukraine and the Mideast.
The European political community is gathering together to meet here in Yerevan, Armenia. It's still a relatively new format, but its purpose is very similar to the European Union, where leaders of heads of state and government gather together and talk about issues. Now, the EU has 27 members. Here, there are around 50 heads of state and government that meet around the big table to talk about all kinds of issues and conflicts. Speaking of conflicts, the conflict of the U.S. and Iran, well, Iran's border is very close to here, and that'll probably be just one of the many issues that people talk about when they gather around the big table.
Correspondent Mark Carlson. Ukraine launching a wave of strikes against Russia's oil export infrastructure, hitting a key loading port on the Baltic Sea and 3 tankers. Ukraine alleges they were being used to illegally transport Russian oil. Townhall.com. Other states may follow Louisiana, which is now delaying House primaries after the Supreme Court's 6-3 redistricting ruling. SCOTUS finding the state unlawfully used race when it created a second majority black congressional district, limiting a key element of the Voting Rights Act. Correspondent Laura Winters with reaction from House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is from Louisiana.
Look, the Supreme Court said that in Louisiana's case, it was blatantly unconstitutional. And I think that principle applies probably in other states as well.
House Speaker Mike Johnson encouraging other Republican governors to look into canceling congressional primaries in light of the Supreme Court ruling involving Louisiana. He tells reporters on Capitol Hill.
And I assume that those governors and legislatures are looking at that closely. We want constitutional maps, and I think all states who have unconstitutional maps should look at that very carefully, and I think they should do it before the midterm.
Laura Winters reporting.
NASDAQ futures down 24 points, S&P futures off 10. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
This show knows things before anybody else is transmitting it. I said 5 minutes after we make a deal, the price of crude oil is going to go down $20 a barrel. Well, it went down $20 a barrel today. It did. 15 days from now, and if it looks like we have a good deal, it'll go down another $25 a barrel.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
And that's a good sign for us, obviously, and for the free world.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Tired of fumbling for your phone, wallet, or keys? Don't put it in your pants, put it in your pocket. Meet T-Pocket, the practical tees, the shirt that keeps it all in reach. Designed in the USA, assembled in the South, these tees feature smart built-in pockets for easy access. Long sleeve, short sleeve, available in most colors, with your favorite teams and logos to come later. Shop the full lineup now at tpocket.net. Fast shipping, easy ordering. Grab yours today and level up your everyday carry. Put it in your pocket with T-Pocket. tpocket.net.
Folks, John Fredericks here. A word from Red State Marketing. Business owners, your competitor down the street, well, they just showed up when a customer asked ChatGPT who to call. Did you? Search has changed. Google AI, overviews, and ChatGPT, they're answering buyer questions. And if your business isn't in those answers, you're invisible. Red State Marketing, well, they fix all that. American-built SEO for American businesses. Get your free order today at redstatemarketing.com/JFRS.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
The Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system, but there's only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. The Wellness Company allows you to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits, which contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. The Wellness Company also offers a variety of health products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more, helping you stay healthy and live a longer, better, healthier life. Make America healthy again. That starts at home. So do your part and protect the health of you and your family. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla today and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10%. That's twc.health/Godzilla.
Trying to get our two boys ready to carry them to golf tournament for practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Meow, looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Yes, we are back. It is good to have you. Phone lines open, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Let me get this mic fixed here, Danny boy. That sounds good. And somebody asked me, where's my 1775 coffee? It's right here. Hang on a minute. But let's have a sip. Damn, that's good coffee, man. I just brewed a fresh pot when I came in. There's nothing like a fresh pot of 1775 coffee in the morning at 6 o'clock. Nothing better. It's just fantastic. And you can have it too. It's about quality of life. Don't drink that crap. Don't do it. You deserve better. If you're a coffee drinker like me, you deserve better. Now, you don't have to go to Starbucks and spend like $13 for a cup of coffee and a Swizzle stick and some cinnamon on it. It's like ridiculous. You just want a good cup of Joe. You want it smooth. You want it bold. You want it to taste great. That's because beans are roasted fresh from Bolivia. That's why it's so good. They roast them fresh. They don't ship them, freeze dry them, and then roast them. No, they get old and stale. These are fresh roasted daily, shipped here. Best coffee you're ever going to find, and affordable. All you got to do for a better coffee and better quality of life and better affordability is go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. That's all you got to do, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Hang on. Damn, that's good. I don't know what else to say. It is really good stuff. All right, we got a lot going on here. We got a lot of clips I want to get to. A lot of hand wringing over this war. I think that what we have to do is end the war. End it by obliterating them. So I've changed my position on that, as you know. Now, Skillet in the chat is telling me, unfortunately, it's not going to be good news in Virginia. Well, Mr. Skillet, Timbo, you live in Florida. You don't live in Virginia. You didn't cover Virginia. And so all of a sudden you think there's going to be bad news when I've got constitutional Virginia lawyers telling me this thing is going down 7-0, 6-1, 5-2, or 4-3. So Timbo, don't be a naysayer. I know you're pissed because the Tampa Bay Lightning outshot Montreal 35-9 and lost the game. I'm equally as pissed having bet Tampa Bay. How do you shoot 35 times to get one goal? They shoot 9 times to get 2 goals. Like, how do you do that? How do you lose that game with a shot differential 35? They took 9 shots. That's 3 shots a period. They had no shots in the second period. How did I lose that game? Don't even get me started, Timbo. Don't even get me started. Let's get to cut 1. Pence. Oh, he's back. Why are we playing Pence? Well, why not? He says, for 5 decades, Iran has been the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world and waged war on our cherished ally Israel, and they have claimed American lives. Well, you got a point. Mike Pence is back, I guess. Roll it.
Iran is a leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world for 5 decades. They've claimed American lives. They've threatened America's interest in the region, and of course waged a relentless war against our cherished ally Israel. And look, Republicans and Democrats know that on Capitol Hill, and that's why this is one of those moments where I just don't think you can be thinking politics on this. We got 3 full battle groups, aircraft carriers in the region. We got the strongest military in the history of the world. The president appears to be poised to exhaust the diplomatic outcome here. But at the end of the day, I think people know that we've got to finish the job, and winning this fight, degrading the military capabilities and security in Iran that will allow the people of Iran to step up and reclaim their country, I believe at the end of the day will not only serve history, but it will also be received among the American people with great welcome and great gratitude for our armed forces and for the leadership the president provided.
It's been great leadership, and the president's doing the right thing. Carl just sends me a picture of gas, I guess, where he is, $4.69. Look, it's not pleasant, but you're nobody's dead. Nobody's going to die here because for a few months gas is up because we're trying to stop a rogue nation who has killed thousands of Americans from getting a nuclear bomb and blowing people to smithereens because they're nuts. I mean, is our whole life now based on what the price of a gallon of gas is? Is that what your life is based on? Are you going to die because gas is $4.69? $3.89 is the average. I mean, this is becoming ridiculous. Gas was $5 under Biden. No, everybody just dealt with it. Yes, I understand it's expensive. We paid it under Biden, and there was no reason for it. Like you couldn't figure it out. At least now there's a reason. We're trying to win a war against somebody who is killing Americans and is a threat to the United States. And we're going to take over these straits once and for all and stop this nonsense. And yeah, in the short term, yeah, your disposable income goes down. I get it. But this is truly transitory. The policies that Trump has, long term, you're going to get lower gas prices for longer in perpetuity, much lower than you even had when it was $1.89. This stuff's going down. The hand-wringing over gas, I've never seen this in my lifetime. I mean, you would think because gas is $4.69 somewhere in Allentown that the earth was coming to an end. I don't want to pay that either on the bus tour. Look, it cost us, over $1,000 in extra money from what it was. I would like to have that $1,000 back. I get it. But this constant, gas prices are up. Therefore, bad war, bad Trump, bad this, bad that. Get over it. I mean, this is really becoming absurd. Okay? It's not like it's $10. I mean, it's another $1.50 a gallon. I know it sucks. You put 20 gallons in, that's $30. I get it. But you're not going to die. If they get a bomb, you're going to die. Somebody is. Let's open up these straits once and for all and stop this nonsense. And in the short term, there's going to be some pain. Short-term pain, long-term gain. I mean, I got to be honest, folks, I've never seen a collective meltdown over an extra $1.50 in gas, and it just goes on, and it's our side. Look, I understand you don't want to pay it. But come on, man. The guy is trying to solve a problem that nobody has solved for 50 freaking years. And he's got the balls to solve it. And what are you going to do in August when gas is $1.50? I hope you're going to give him the same credit, because that's what's going to happen. I don't mean to get upset, but think about what we're doing. Now, if you don't like the war and you don't think we should be in this war, then call me and tell me why. Don't be telling me that gas is $4.69 in Allentown. And that's the reason we shouldn't be in this war. if you have reasons we shouldn't be here, if you really believe they were not a threat, if you really believe the policy of appeasement worked, then call the show. I will give you equal time and tell us that. If you really believe that had we done nothing or continue to give them billions on pallets, that everything would be fine, then call up and say that. But if your only argument is gas is $4.69 in Allentown, if that's your argument against a long-term geopolitical solution against a rogue, crazed regime that runs around saying death to America, that obviously has enriched uranium they don't want to give up, or they would have given up what they don't have, then give me the argument for that. If you really think this was a war of choice, then give me the argument for that. And I swear I will give you respectful equal time like I do everyone, except prank callers. I mean, think about where we're going with this. $4.69 gas, therefore let them get a bomb. $4.69 gas, therefore let them continue to kill Americans. $4.69 gas in Allentown, therefore allow them to get a nuclear warhead and an ICBM. So we can save $1.50 in May, or $2 a gallon. I just don't get it. I don't get where we're going with this. If you don't like the war, Trump said he wouldn't get us in any wars. Trump also said we wouldn't let Iran get a nuclear bomb. He said that for, 50 years. Oh, Trump said he wouldn't let us get us in a war. Well, he had to. If there's an imminent threat, what do you expect him to do? Well, you can just attack us. We can't do anything because, I promised MAGA people, Tucker Carlson, I wouldn't get in the war. I promised Candace Owens I wouldn't get in the war. I promised Alex Jones I wouldn't get in the war. Therefore, it is what it is. I mean, is that your logic here? Whatever he promised, he doesn't want to get us into wars. He wants to defend your country. And he's got the balls to do it. He doesn't want gas to be $4.69 a gallon. He'd rather be $1.89 where it was in Roanoke 4 months ago. This is not a joke. And I'm really getting sick and tired of this whole gas thing. So it's stupid. It's like the end of the world. Sorry I got off on that. Larry in Richmond. You lost my video. All right, go to a break.
Ponder this. We intake oxygen every time we breathe, and breathing is how we stay alive. When God first created man, he breathed life into him. Our Lord also breathed spiritual life into his apostles and filled them with the Holy Spirit at the first Pentecost. Oxygen is a source of life both physically and spiritually. It's the same with fire. Oxygen is needed in order to keep a fire burning, which begs the question, are you on fire for the Lord, or has your spiritual oxygen been extinguished? To answer this, we must go to the source. The source of our spiritual oxygen is the Lord himself. Without him, there is no life within us. Those are his words, not mine. We are called to tap into this life source by baptism, daily prayer, and receiving the sacraments, especially Holy Communion if you are a Catholic, in the state of grace. If we tap into this life source every day, our lives will be filled with the love of the Lord, our spiritual oxygen. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
This show knows things before anybody else is transmitting it. I said 5 minutes after we make a deal, the price of crude oils can go down $20 a barrel. Well, it went down $20 a barrel today.
It did.
15 days from now, and if it looks like we have a good deal, it'll go down another $20 a barrel.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
And that's a good sign for us, obviously, and for the free world.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
With us now is retired Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery of the U.S. Navy and former DHS senior official Bridget Bean. Great to have you both with us today to talk through these really important issues. Admiral Montgomery, I'll start with you. Axios reporting that Iran has set a 1-month deadline for negotiations on the Strait of Hormuz and an end to the war in Israel and Lebanon, and as well as a 2-month deadline for negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. And, of course, our excellent reporting from Robert Sherman just there. So let's talk about how likely it is that any of this happens within these deadlines.
Well, if it's based on the 14-point proposal the Iranians just sent over, nothing's going to happen because it still has reparations, a new way of controlling ships with the Straits of Hormuz that would be in violation of international law, a relief on all sanctions without any mention of the nuclear program. So from my perspective, the Iranian 14-point proposal is as unrealistic as their 10-point proposal. What I'm hoping is that the president sees the value in the blockade, the economic damage we're doing to Iran, and has the patience and discipline to allow that to carry out and see what happens over the next 3 to 6 weeks.
Bridget, what do you think of this 14-point plan? And do you think that we'll end up seeing the U.S. military restart these strikes?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Mark. You're absolutely right. But what I had to chuckle at is the president is known for hyperbole, but on this one, he said he's not satisfied. And that.
Let's get to the phone lines because I got into it with him. Let's go to Killer Carl in Allentown, Pennsylvania. You can be heard in the John Fredericks Radio Network Saturdays, nationally 8 to 9 a.m., right before Godzilla wins. Carl, you got equal time. Go ahead.
All right, Johnny. Well, first of all, I had to take my healthy cell, right? Focus and recall, just to prepare for this. So you go to healthycell.com, use promo code Godzilla, and you can get some of the best supplements out there on the market to give you focus and clarity. But here's the thing, John. It's not just about the gas prices, right? It's more than that. It's about contractors. You see, I deal with contractors every day. I'm out there in the field, right? So the cost of their materials are still high. The cost of the materials are still high. That never came down. They're still dealing with illegal invaders that are stealing their jobs, right? And they're just not happy. And the additional added cost of gas, because gas was coming down here in Pennsylvania. It was nice. We were down to $2.99 a gallon, right? And people are just sitting back and they're thinking, okay, I've been hearing since 1998 that Iran was 6 months, 3 years. 1 year away from getting these nuclear bomb, right? It becomes the COVID. It becomes the climate factor. Al Gore, where we're 12 years away from dying. That's what's not sitting right with people right now. It feels like it's an unnecessary cost to the American people. And a lot of your average people, they can't see the benefit right now. Now, will they a couple of months? Maybe. But what I fear is that this is going to damage us for the midterms. That's my biggest fear. I love President Trump. You know that as much. You know that more than anybody. I absolutely love him. I think he's the best president in the world. But your average person out there on the street, they need to change the messaging or something, because it's just not working with the average person. Maybe the people that are connected into politics, it makes sense to them, but your average person out there working their 9 to 5, busting their hump, it's just not resonating. I can tell you that firsthand. I deal with them every single day, and I sit here and I try to make it clear to them, but they don't want to hear it, because you know what's following these high gas prices? High grocery prices again. Inflation. That's all coming after this.
No, it's not.
And that's where the frustration comes in.
That's just fake. Inflation under President Trump has been tamed. It's under 2%. So it has nothing to do with food prices, right? The inflation.
Well, when you have okay, 1 minute. When
the
you
only thing
have
that's gone up, the only
cost
thing
of
that's gone up is
fertilizer,
gas.
But when you have the cost of fertilizer going up, it's going to create the cost.
All right, we got to go to a break.
When you
Hold
have
that
the cost
thought.
of transportation,
I got to go to a break. When I get back, I'll give you the final word. Okay. Obviously, you don't want the war. I guess if they had a bomb and started blowing things up, you'd change your tune. But I'm going to give you the final word. Hold through the break.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
This show knows things before anybody else is transmitting it. I said 5 minutes after we make a deal, the price of crude oils can go down $20 a barrel. Well, it went down $20 a barrel today.
It did.
15 days from now, and if it looks like we have a good deal, it'll go down another $20 a barrel.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
And that's a good sign for us, obviously, and for the free world.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Tired of fumbling for your phone, wallet, or keys? Don't put it in your pants, put it in your pocket. Meet T-Pocket, the practical tees, the shirt that keeps it all in reach. Designed in the USA, assembled in the South, these tees feature smart built-in pockets for easy access. Long sleeve, short sleeve, available in most colors, with your favorite teams and logos to come later. Shop the full lineup now at tpocket.net. Fast shipping, easy ordering. Grab yours today and level up your everyday carry. Put it in your pocket with T-Pocket. tpocket.net.
Folks, John Fredericks here. A word from Red State Marketing. Business owners, your competitor down the street, well, they just showed up when a customer asked ChatGPT who to call. Did you? Search has changed. Google AI, overviews, and ChatGPT, they're answering buyer questions. And if your business isn't in those answers, you're invisible. Red State Marketing, well, they fix all that. American-built SEO for American businesses. Get your free order today at redstatemarketing.com/JFRS.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
If you want to go after an athlete, one of my athletes, you go after one that doesn't do the right things. You don't downgrade him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday, and you let us make that decision. That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage, and the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them, the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Okay, you're back. John Fredericks Media Network. Great to have you with us. There are so many great sales going on right now with Mike Lindell and MyPillow. It's unbelievable. They're moving to a big new factory because they had a kind of resurgence in sales. You and I did that. We all did that for them. But they got a lot of stuff now. They don't want to move there. They just want to ship them out. This means enormous savings to you on so many things, up to 80% off. They're giving this stuff away. I mean, you got Mother's Day coming up. You get free shipping on everything. They got pillows, they got blankets, they got comforters, they got everything good. It's the slippers. Get your mom a pair of slippers. Get your wife a pair of slippers. Those are phenomenal. You're going to love those. They got so many great things, and the prices are unbelievable. Carl says you're paying too much money for gas. Here's where to save it. You save it on MyPillow, because that's going to save more money than you could ever spend on gas, because it's up to 80% off. And all you got to do is go to mypillow.com. All the savings are there. mypillow.com/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. Get up to 80% savings. Free shipping. It's all there. Get a mattress topper. Look, you get your wife the Giza, or your mom the Giza sheets. Got a king size bed, queen size. You get those Giza sheets. Wow. She's going to be like, wow, this is the best Mother's Day present I've ever had. Get the slippers. Wow. So all you got to do is go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. I mean, you're going to get 80% off and free shipping. Or you can call 800-854. What is it? What's that number, Dan? You know what? It's written right here, and I always forget. 800-854-0504. 800-854-0504. Promo code Godzilla. 800-854-0504. Or go to mypillow.com. Okay, let's get Carl back. Carl, we'll let you close the argument out.
All right. Well, I'm just going to close it out with the MyPillow towels are the absolute best towels on the planet. I don't know if you have these, Johns.
Oh, yeah.
But I absolutely have them. You listen, you want to end a perfect, stressful day. Get yourself a shower, get the MyPillow towel, dry yourself off, throw your MyPillow slippers on, and then about a half hour before bed, take some REM sleep from Healthy Cell.
That's
right? That's how you end your day.
Yeah, you got that.
That's it. It's perfect.
And
Everything else, the gas and everything, you won't even care. You'll be sleeping like a baby. Go to healthycell.com/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla. And Dan, you're killing it, dude. Dan's doing a great job. He's doing a great job for me on Saturdays, and he's doing a great job for you here during the week, John. And I want to thank you and Ann so much for giving me the opportunity that you gave me. You're truly a man of the people, and thank you for letting me come on here and airing my grievance. I don't think we're too far apart on our opinions on the war so much, but I think the messaging needs to change because when you still have American young people struggling to buy a house.
Change to what? What are you going to change it to? We're talking about. I don't know what is all the complaints here. I'm not getting it.
Well,
it's a constant.
The complaints are.
We have a booming economy. It is booming. We're getting illegals out of the country, not to the extent you'd like, but he's getting them out. We have closed the borders, right? The tariffs made us bajillions of dollars. They brought manufacturing jobs back. Now, those are gone by the wayside. Courts have stopped it. Can't do anything about it, right? He's gone into Iran and tried to get rid of this rogue regime that if they didn't have nuclear enrichment capability for a bomb, they would have given it up. Nobody can seem to defend that argument that I give every day. If they don't have the capacity to make a bomb, then why don't they give up the capacity they don't have? Obviously, they have it.
Well, I can tell you the argument why they wouldn't give it up, because they don't want to have regime change. If you give up the fact that you have a nuclear bomb, then you open yourself up to constant regime change. That's why North Korea doesn't want to give up their nuclear bomb. That's why China doesn't want to give up their nuclear bomb. Russia doesn't want to give up theirs.
Carl,
Israel, Pakistan, India, they all have nuclear bombs.
We allowed North Korea to get a bomb. Clinton did nothing, and he let him get it. And now look at the situation.
I agree, and they shouldn't have it.
I was sure they shouldn't have it.
They shouldn't have it.
If they didn't, when you say, 3 years, 30 years, there was 3 months, they was going to get it. If they didn't have the enriched uranium, and that is the one thing standing in between war and peace, is them giving it up. Why wouldn't they give up what they don't have? Obviously, they won't give it up because they have it. And obviously, they were closer. And you don't know what the intel is. You don't know what President Trump is being told by our intel agencies that the Democrats hold up as like the gold standard, which we have our problems with. We don't know what he was told. This guy doesn't want gas prices to be $4.89.
I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure he's not loving this at all. I'm sure he's not loving it at all. And I'm not saying he is. I'm just simply saying to the average person out there, and I got to go because I got to go deal with some angry construction workers. But to the average person, Operation Midnight Hammer, we were all told that we destroyed everything and it was over, right? And people weren't happy with it, but we were like, okay, it's over. And then we just get drug in deeper. Now we've got all types of aircraft carriers over there. Now we're talking about
look. You got to go and I got to go. All you've done for 15 minutes is bitch. What is your solution? What do you want done?
What do I want done? I'd like President Trump to pull all the military back and let Israel handle it. There you go. That's problem solved. Let Israel take care of it. Let Europe take care of it. Why are we taking care of something that doesn't really benefit Americans? We've already destroyed their nuclear capacity, Operation Midnight Hammer. We bombed the hell out of them. So why are we still messing around there? Let's just come home. Let's let Israel. We give Israel money. We supply them with weapons.
You want to come home to save $1.50 in gas. Let them control the straits, control who gets through the oil.
They're going to control it anyway, John.
Killing Americans.
It's a killing
No, we can. You know what? This is a vacuous argument, okay? I love you to death, But here's the problem we have in our movement. This exchange between us is the problem we have. You're focused on today and tomorrow. President Trump is focused on a long-term future of safety and security. And you're not willing to give up $1.50 in gas, and you want to just tuck tail and run away and give them the straights so you save $1.50 in gas. This is an insane argument, dude. Insane. But it's the problem we have with our movement. And all you heard Carl do here for 10 minutes is bitch. Not enough illegals came out. Gas prices aren't too high. There's no, food prices didn't come down. Inflation is too high. Construction is too high. Fertilizer is too high. Trump didn't do what he said. Trump didn't fix everything in 15 months. You're not looking at all the great things he did, the phenomenal success we've had, and we want to take a couple things that have not gone as quickly as you'd like and indict them. Unbelievable. Carl, we're going to have to agree to disagree, and I'm going to let you go. But thank you for the call. Thank you for the spirited debate. Unbelievable. And then, you had Paul saying he should have done this after the midterm. You know what? Paul, is that all that matters now? Do it after the midterm? Well, maybe they would have had a bomb after the midterm. You think Trump did this because he wanted to do it? Is that what you guys believe? Like he wanted to go to war so we could have all this hand-wringing going on about the midterms? Maybe he should have done it after the midterms. That's January. Maybe he felt we didn't have another year. You're either going to trust this guy or not. Look what he's done for us. Now we're going to question, every move he makes because gas is $2 higher in Allentown. This is why our movement is crumbling around us. Let's have some staying power and some fortitude. Like these governors have had, like DeSantis has. Oh, DeSantis should wait, not call until 2028 like Brian Kemp. No, DeSantis shoved it up your ass, as he should. That's leadership. I'm looking for leadership. Worrying about the midterms and gas in May is not leadership. It's what the Democrats do. Great debate, Carl. 888-480-JOHN. Okay, let's get to the wellness company. My good friend Nicholas Holscher, entomologist. I hope I say that right, in the McCullough Foundation. Nicholas, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
We're just having a spirited debate. Sorry we're a little late getting to you.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, look. What is going on now with this parasite thing? Now we're told that the CIA knew about these shots. Give us insight.
Yeah, the CIA had obtained a Soviet study in the 1950s that showed tumors and parasites, so cancerous tumors and parasites, grew and propagated, spread in the body with very, very similar mechanisms. They both love sugar and glucose, and they feed off of it, and that's what helps them spread. But in that 1950 study, the scientists found that the anti-parasitic medications had anti-tumor effects or anti-cancer effects. And that document was classified in the 1950s and not declassified until 2011, so over 60 years later. And so this may unfortunately have set back this vital cancer research over half a century.
So where do we go from here, Nicholas? What do we do now in light of this new information?
Well, listen, we're doing the research now. We're picking up the pieces that should have been done 60 years ago, and what we just found is absolutely shocking. We had 200 cancer patients in a study, the largest real-world human study on antiparasitics in cancer, and we found 84.4% of them benefited in their cancer treatment. About half of them, they reported their cancers disappeared or their tumors shrank, and then 36% their cancers stabilized, they stopped spreading. So, we're doing the research now. We got to start pouring large amounts of money into large scale trials now.
Tell me about what people do to get the product you have that is aligned with the studies in helping reduce the risk of cancer. What exactly should people be getting from the wellness company?
Yeah, that'll be the ivermectin and mebendazole compounded capsules. You'll find it at twc.health/cancer, and you'll see our whole study, the whole breakdown, what we did, what we found, and the exact same capsules that are available for prescription from the wellness company telemedicine doctors are the exact same capsules in our study where we found an 84% clinical benefit.
84% is pretty high. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla. You're going to get 10% off there. And the ivermectin, and how do I say the other drug? I can never say it.
Mebendazole.
Mebendazole. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to say that. Ivermectin and mebendazole, and that is the wellness company's cancer treatment with 84% of positive feedback they've gotten off it. That's a pretty high number. Promo code Godzilla, you're going to save 10%, and you can get it right there. Now, speaking of what's going on in government and the Trump administration, President Trump recently announced that he was pulling Casey Means for Surgeon General, pulling her nomination. I was not a supporter of her. She really didn't have any experience. My first choice was, as you know, Dr. Kelly Victory. I think she would have been an extraordinary transformational Surgeon General. She hasn't gotten the opportunity yet, but he's nominating Nicole Safler. I don't really know much about her. I was not a Means fan just because she didn't have the medical experience on patients, right? She was educated, but you didn't really serve as a doctor. So I'm like, how do you be a Surgeon General without that? I know her father was a big donor. That didn't feel good to me. Not a fan. Glad she's out. What about this Nicole Safler?
Yeah, well, I'm a fan too that Casey Means is out. You're right. The Surgeon General of the United States should at least have some degree of practice experience as a physician. And so I'm happy with that. Now, with Nicole Sapphire, we've looked at some previous statements, and some of them were quite shocking. In fact, she said she would take 20 Pfizer boosters if she had the opportunity, but we have seen evidence she has basically come to the understanding that was nonsense, and she has started to basically at least speak out against the COVID shots for children. So we'll just have to wait and see. It could be a good pick. She may be able to get confirmed and make changes from within, or it may be a disaster, but we'll have to wait and see.
I don't like the pick, and I'll tell you why. I'm tired of these Fox News television people getting key jobs in the administration. I mean, it worked out for Hegseth. I think he's tremendous. But I mean, what experience does she have? I mean, and she's not really aligned with Maha. I mean, Maha and MAGA have to be aligned going to these midterms. So I'm not a fan of this pick either. I didn't like Means. I'm not excited about her. I mean, why don't we get a Surgeon General that practiced medicine, that helped patients, that's not on TV every day, right? Let's get a Surgeon General that knows what they're doing and understood how this COVID shot was manufactured. It was a complete disaster. They didn't do any of the proper research on it. It was rushed into market. Now we're not researching the bad elements that's happened, the heart problems. That's what I want.
Yeah. No, 100% agreed, right? We should have Dr. Kelly Victory in there or
Damn
Dr.
right.
Peter McCullough as the Surgeon General. People that made the right choices when it really mattered. But yeah, so it's unfortunate, but they can't get anybody through. They can't get anybody confirmed. I mean, I don't know if they'd be able to get, Dr. Kelly Victory confirmed with all of the compromised individuals in the government that take large sums of money from the large pharmaceutical companies. So, but yeah, the picks have not been exactly what we wanted to see. Again, we thought many other people would have been chosen for other positions as well within the public health agencies, but that has not happened.
Does your new combined medication, the ivermectin and the, how do I say it again?
Mebendazole.
One of these days I'm going to get it right. Mebendazole. If you have cancer, you definitely want to get that in your early stages. Does it work as a preventative?
It's entirely possible. We need to do more study on its particularly preventative effects, but we would assume that because it has potent anti-cancer activity in active cancer across hundreds of laboratory studies and animal studies, and then our human study finding the large clinical benefit, we would suspect it could help prevent cancer, but again, we need studies to confirm that. And it's not harmful to take a parasite cleanse every now and then.
I think it's a good thing. What type, of our audience now, who do you recommend should purchase this today? Walk us through that.
Well, if you do have active cancer or are undergoing cancer treatment, you can reach out and fill out a form on the wellness company's website to possibly get a prescription for the ivermectin and mebendazole for off-label cancer treatment. And as well as if you eat sushi often or you have a dog or cat, you're frequently outside, you go in lakes often, it would also may be wise to take a parasite cleanse every now and then.
Well, the parasite cleanse is good. You brought up if you eat a lot of sushi, obviously that's where parasites embed themselves because it's not cooked. So that's probably the issue. I eat it once in a while, not a lot of it for that exact reason. I prefer stuff cooked. Get rid of the parasites in a frying pan or an oven or a grill. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. Now you got to worry about mRNA and particularly pork, right? So yeah, we gotta cook some of this stuff at quite high temperatures.
Exactly. All right, just go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla, going to get 10% off. You're in cancer treatment or in the early stages of it, definitely want to get the combined ivermectin and mebendazole zone, whatever it is. You want to get that. And you're going to get 10% off with promo code Godzilla, along with everything else they have. And don't forget, if you're a guy, I just want to recommend this. It's really helped me. Mars, can't get off the air without saying it. Testosterone booster for men. You're over 40, your testosterone goes down. I take 2 of these a day with a full glass of water. Check this out. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla, and you're going to get your 10% off and get your testosterone booster Mars all natural. And it's going to take you about 3 months. My testosterone started going up a little bit, but it took me 3 months before I got any result. But now it's gradually getting up. I don't need injections or anything like that. It's all natural. So check that out. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Nicholas, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with your calls, 888-480-JOHN.
WJFN W224EB 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Barnaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth AM 1650.
From Town Hall, Amit Shamason. Nothing yet on the motive for a mass shooting last night near Oklahoma City.
There was a party at Lake Arcadia. Edmond Police, along with Oklahoma Highway Patrol and Oklahoma City Police, responded to find multiple victims. I can confirm that we have transported 10 to area metro hospitals in various conditions.
Emily Ward with the Edmond PD. Witnesses say there were 2 mask-wearing gunmen, no arrests. A spokesman for Rudy Giuliani is asking for prayer for the former New York City mayor, presidential lawyer, and advisor. The 81-year-old Giuliani is hospitalized in critical but stable condition in Florida. There's no word on what landed him in the hospital or how long he's been there. President Trump calls America's mayor fabulous and a true warrior. The president has launched a new initiative called Project Freedom. It's aimed at helping ships to safely transit the Strait of Hormuz.
President Trump said in a social media post on Sunday that, quote, neutral and innocent countries have been affected by the Iran war and, quote, we have told those countries that we will guide their ships safely out of those restricted waterways so they can freely and ably get on with their business. End quote.
Correspondent Ken Lorman says Iran is spewing more threats in response to Project Freedom. The U.S. military is rejecting claims that Iran struck an American Navy vessel. Iranian news agencies had claimed that Iran struck a U.S. Navy ship southeast of the Strait of Hormuz. As the price of oil rises, gas prices continue their upward climb, averaging $4.45 a gallon this morning, according to AAA. That's up a penny from yesterday, 34 cents higher than a week ago. The California average, $6.11 per gallon. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are down 214 points. NASDAQ futures off 16 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
If you're hearing my voice, chances are you're either worried about a parent living alone or you are that parent. And you know your family worries about you too. Either way, there's a company that finally got senior safety right. Connected Caregiver. Connected Caregiver is everything you knew about alert devices, fall detection, emergency button, GPS, reimagined for today. There's a small wearable that alerts your family's phone the moment something happens. Inside your home, discrete sensors, no cameras, no microphones, just motion sensors have you covered even when you're not wearing it. No movement for hours, your loved ones will know. For the kids, you go from hoping everything's okay to knowing it is. And for you, you stay in your home on your terms while giving your precious family the peace of mind they've been asking for. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Visit ccgoffer.com to see if you qualify for a free device. It takes 2 minutes. That's ccgoffer.com, ccgoffer.com. Do it today.
European leaders say President Trump's decision to withdraw thousands of U.S. troops from Germany took them by surprise, but is proof that Europe must take care of its own defense needs.
Speaking at a summit in Armenia, Norway's Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre told reporters,
That because I think we are expecting that Europe is taking more charge of its own security.
The Pentagon announced last week that 5,000 troops would leave, but Trump said Saturday the number would be much higher. He offered no reason for the move, which blindsided NATO. The decision comes amid a Trump dispute with Chancellor Friedrich Merz over the German leader's remarks about the U.S.'s Israeli war on Iran. I'm Karen Shamas.
Police in eastern Austria say a 39-year-old suspect has been arrested after rat poison turned up in some baby food jars on supermarket shelves across Central Europe. The company recalled some of its baby food. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's called swatting. Authorities say it's becoming a major problem in America.
Hoax calls involving alleged bomb threats and even claims of active shooters prompting evacuations and closures, this time at several zoos around the country. No explosives or any real dangers have been found in the latest string of swatting incidents. Threats have also been called into zoos in Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, and Arizona. The FBI has called swatting an increasing national problem, with calls made to a large number of different venues. Jason Walker reporting.
President Trump is promising to release new UFO records. He says they'll be very interesting, says the files will be coming very soon after he directed the Pentagon to share documents relating to UFOs and extraterrestrial life. The action's being cheered by some members of Congress. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
Hey parents, plan an unforgettable summer. Send your kids to Rapid Ann Baptist Camp in Rochelle, Virginia. 1 week of nonstop fun and life-changing truth. Amazing preachers, friendly counselors, exciting activities. Ride an alpine coaster and zip line, a 250-foot water slide, and that's just the beginning. Junior camps for ages 7 to 12, teen camps for 13 to 18, 2-day Pee-wee camp with mom and dad for ages 4 to 8, and a brand new day camp option. Sign up today at CampRapidAnn.com. That's CampRapidAnn.com. Rapid Ann Baptist Camp, where faith and fun collide.
In a time when everything feels political, one place must rise above it all: the courtroom, where the law rules and integrity matters. In 2020, Georgians came together, electing a justice who believes in protecting our courts.
I'm Georgia Supreme Court Justice Sarah Warren, and here's what I believe. I believe in the rule of law, the separation of powers, and a judge's limited role to interpret the law as written. I believe in a nonpartisan judiciary, impartial judges who don't advocate for political positions or outcomes. I believe in deciding cases without bias or favor, treating everyone with dignity and respect. As a justice on your Supreme Court, I've upheld these values. With your support, we'll maintain the integrity of our courts.
Vote to re-elect Justice Sarah Warren. Vote early starting April 27th or on Election Day, May 19th. Paid for by Georgians for Justice Warren, Inc.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Yeah, you got him back. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your Oracle of the deplorables. Great to have you with us, as always. Spirited debate over this Iran war. I just trust the president. I trust what he's doing. I think he's doing this for a reason. I think he had no choice. I think after 50 years, he decided to act. No one else had the balls to do it. He finally did it. He's had enough. I think when this is said and done, we're going to have control of the Straits, which Iran, this crazy, radical, rogue regime, has controlled for 50 years. I think we're done with that. We're done with them controlling these islands. We're just done with the whole thing. We're done with them getting a bomb. We're done with the Houthis. We're done with Hezbollah. We're done with them all. We're just done. They've been killing us for 50 years. We're done. And it took one president with the wherewithal and the courage and the vision and the toughness to get it done. And all we want to do is bitch and complain about gas every day. Look, I understand you're hurting out there. But gas was $5 under Biden. Did you die? Are you dead as a result of that? Inflation went up dramatically under Biden. Did you die? Now it's come down to 2%. This guy's getting no credit. Oh, I'm broke. What? I mean, look at the one big, beautiful bill. The enormous record number of tax rebates coming back. It's off the charts. The money that people have saved. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. You got more money in your pocket. The small business boom. All of this was done through the leadership of one Donald J. Trump. And now we're all going to abandon him, along with Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones, others. We're all going to abandon him because we're now going to second guess his excursion into Iran, when he was convinced by our intel that they were close to be able to manufacture a nuclear weapon of some kind and put it on an ICBM, and then basically hold the world hostage. One guy decided he had enough. And a little pain, and we all want to cave. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. We're all feeling the pain. But there's so many good things, nobody can focus on them. Your life does not revolve around a transitory increase in the price of gas. I'm telling you, you will live. And when it's over, with the oil production that we have, in a few months, it'll be under $2. And then I hope he gets the same level of love that we're getting right now from the naysayers. So I want to say, naysayers, right? Tell me when Al Buckton is on running for state senate, talking about trying to knock out a rhino in Pennsylvania. When he gets back, let's get to some clips here. I don't mean to get fired up today, but you know what? It's just nuts. I mean, it's absolutely insane, because what Trump has done, the number of things he's done has been just amazing. I mean, even Washington, D.C., we're taking our nation's capital for granted. I came here, this thing was a complete crap hole. You couldn't go down the street. I couldn't take Ann out to dinner 2 blocks without taking a cab. You couldn't take the metro. You couldn't take a bus. Do you understand how the city was? It was a nightmare. Drugs, tents, homeless, squalor, rats, crime. 15 months later, fixed. Like that. One guy. One guy did it. All of this is now gets swept aside because of the price of gas, because of a war. We got to look at the big picture here. Short-term pain, long-term gain. I'm sorry you're paying another $60 a week in gas. I understand how painful it is. But you did that under Biden and survived. And that went on for 4 years. This is going to go on for 6 months. And then it's going to come down under $2. That's inevitable. Have faith. I'm asking you, have faith in Trump. He didn't want to do this war. He didn't want to do this. He didn't, this is not like, he's not like a neocon that says, you know, let's flex our muscles, let's have a muscular foreign policy. He didn't want to do any of that. He had no choice. Well, he did have a choice, and he made the tough choice. That's why we elected him. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, I want to get to a couple other cuts here. Let's get to, I'm going to get back to Pence here. Let's get back to Pence cut 4 on the war, being that has dominated our discussion today. Let's get back to that. Cut 4, Mike Pence, on why this war was necessary right now. Take a listen.
Brian, number one, I thank your voice in this debate when you said in your monologue, and over the last 7 weeks, it had to happen. Iran has been at war with America and our most cherished ally, Israel, for 47 years. They've claimed the lives of American service members all the way back to the attack on the Marine Corps barracks throughout the Iraq War, through their proxies. And I couldn't be more proud of President Donald Trump's decision to unleash the armed forces of the United States in Operation Epic Fury, taking the fight last year in Operation Midnight Hammer directly to the mullahs in Tehran for the first time. We've got them back on their heels. Right. Our armed forces have done a brilliant job degrading the military capabilities of the Iranian, but it's absolutely essential that we finish the job. And I think likely that will require us putting our men and women in uniform back to work, if only to deploy military force to open up the Strait of Hormuz. But at the end of the day, there's an old saying, Brian, that you don't make peace with your enemy, you make peace with your defeated enemy. And I really believe, based on the posture of the Iranians, the arrogance that they're reflecting in this diplomatic process, that it may become necessary for the commander-in-chief to deploy our forces once again against the military in Iran.
I agree with him. And again, I know many of you, I'm not even gone to the chat, but I know there's going to be 50 chat people saying, oh, we hate Pence. You know, he stabbed Trump in the back. He's a rhino. Yeah, okay. All hands on deck. We have to win the midterms. We have to get better messaging. We have to win this war. We have to get gas prices down. All hands on deck. Anybody that is willing to join my coalition to win the midterms, I embrace now. All IOUs torn up, all debts eradicated. This is not time for petty fights about what somebody did 4 years ago or 5 years ago. I just don't care. I don't care. In order to win, you need to build a coalition and embrace everybody towards a common goal. Not everybody is going to agree with you 100% of the time. Some people you don't like. But it's got to get us to the goal. We've got to win these midterms. And if we do that, they're never going to have the House back again. This is how high the stakes are. And so I am willing to overlook anything in the past for the future right now. So if Mike Pence is out there helping us, I'm going to not only accept the help, I'm going to embrace the help, and I'm going to thank him. I have my differences with Mike Pence, as many of us have. But that is irrelevant at this point in time. He's not your candidate for president. He's not your candidate for vice president. He's not running in a primary for Senate. He's a former vice president weighing in, trying to help. You have to accept the help from everybody in order to win. That's what a coalition is. I'm in D.C. We get 7% of the vote. Republicans do. We have to build a bigger coalition. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. But we have a local chairman that is content to get 7% of the vote and run around with a badge on at meetings and won't do anything to grow that because he doesn't want to, because that puts him at risk. That's not the kind of leadership that I'm interested in. I'm interested in moving forward, getting things done as President Trump has done, 100%. Let's get to Pence again, just to drive you nuts. Let's go to 5. Here's Pence again, being very articulate on what Republicans just need to remind people. Now he gets into messaging. Cut 5. Take a listen.
Right, yeah. And, you're absolutely right to say that, the party in power in the White House is always on defense during the midterms. And that feels especially true this year. But, the best defense is a good offense. And what we did back in 2010 during Barack Obama's first midterm election was we went on offense. We did two things. We exposed the left-wing agenda of the Democratic Party everywhere we went, coast to coast. And secondly, we promoted the Republican agenda. And I think that's really the prescription going forward here. I believe Republicans, with the president taking the lead, but with Leader Thune and Speaker Johnson, they're going to make the case. Look, if the Democrats take over the Congress, we know what's going to happen. Progressive, left-wing, liberal policies and impeachment, tax increases, defense cuts. They're telegraphing what they're going to do here, Brian. There's no question. Republicans, by contrast, just need to remind people of the big, beautiful bill extending those tax cuts for working families, small businesses, family farms, energy independence. We're exporting 6 million barrels of oil a day now, which has taken some of the edge off the impact of the Iran war. And, of course, ending the worst border crisis in American history. We've got a great story to tell. Candidates for the House and Senate, for state houses around the country can do it. Expose the left, promote our conservative policies. It'll be a pathway to winning.
Right. Let's get to Scott Bessent yesterday, Secretary of the Treasury, saying all prices are already lower than they were under Biden 6. Take a listen to this.
I think oil prices, we can see in the futures market that oil prices are already lower 3 months, 6 months, 9 months out. But again, Maria, there are hundreds of oil tankers waiting in the Gulf to come out. The U.S. is only blockading Iranian ships, and we will see. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more of those ships coming out. The Iranians, it reminds me that they're kind of like the Keystone Cops here. It reminds me of Baghdad Bob. Back during the Iraqi war, you had the guy kind of spouting nonsense while the tanks were driving around behind him, and the Iranians are like this. They're not tolling the strait. We think that they've gotten less than 1.3 million in tolls, which is a pittance on their previous daily oil revenues. And their oil infrastructure is starting to creak. It hasn't been maintained, again, because of our decades-long sanctions against them. They are rapidly filling up storage. And as that happens, they're going to have to start shutting in wells, which we think could be in the next week.
And then Scott Besant, if you get to 7 here, on Middle East countries that Iran bombed has released their bank accounts for America to freeze. Roll that. 7. Take a listen.
Well, twofold, Maria, as you said. They really miscalculated when they started bombing their Gulf neighbors in a kinetic fashion. And in response, the Gulf neighbors, who I would describe as somewhat permissive in allowing Iranian IRGC money, Iranian regime money into their banking systems, have been very fulsome and come forward and given us the details and allowed us to freeze those assets. So, the IRGC is watching their stolen assets for years, decades, for 47 years, get frozen and go down the drain very quickly. The UAE has decided that OPEC is not for them. Most monopolies eventually collapse under their own weight. And Maria, we could talk about it now or in a minute, but this gives me a lot of optimism that oil prices on the other side of this conflict are going to be much lower than they were going in or at the beginning of the year or at any point in 2020, 2025.
There you have it. Patience. Short-term pain, long-term gain. When this thing is over and done, which is going to be about a month, I believe, oil prices are going to come down, gas prices lower than they were before this started. And then I hope we're going to get the same amount of love equal to the same amount of bitching. I'm hopeful that one will balance off the other. And everybody that is complaining right now, telling me this is not what I voted for, is going to start calling in and say, wow, this is exactly what I voted for. I hope that happens. Turnabout's fair play, right? Let's get to Besson again, 8 here, talking about economic fury against Iran. And he said, we are suffocating the regime. This is real, and it's not getting the play in the fake news because they know how powerful this is. This regime is going to suffocate. There is no money coming in. They cannot transport their oil. They will eventually collapse. They can't maintain what they're doing with no money. Eventually, you have nothing. And that's where it's headed. 8, roll it.
Yeah, and Maria, just to remind you and your viewers, this began with the order last March from President Trump on max pressure. And 3 weeks ago, the president gave the order to Treasury, myself, to begin economic fury. And the way to think about that, we were running a marathon over the past 12 months, and now we are sprinting towards the finish line. And I can tell you that we are suffocating the regime, and they are not able to pay their soldiers. This is a real economic blockade, and it is in all parts of government, all hands on deck. It is the blockade that our great Navy is doing. No ships are getting through, and we have upped the pressure on anyone trying to remit money into Iran to help the IRGC. They are a corrupt institution. They've been stealing from the Iranian people for years. They have money offshore. We've tracked that down. We will continue to track that down. And we're going to preserve those assets for the Iranian people on the other side of this conflict.
Brilliantly said. This guy, Besson, is probably the best Secretary Treasurer we had since Bill Simon, I think. He's so articulate, and he really understands what's going on. I want to get to one more. I have enough time. And we talked earlier about the collapse of Spirit Airlines. And I understand the government and President Trump tried to bail them out. I was opposed to that. I'm done bailing out businesses. I'm sorry they failed. But there was a merger in 2023. JetBlue tried to buy them. I was in favor of that merger, because if you look at Spirit Airlines' balance sheet, it was horrible. But they were an airline that was offering people an opportunity to get to point A to point B for, a fraction of the cost of the major airlines. It also kept prices down because of the competition. And the liberals like Beth Warren and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, or whatever his name is, they opposed it because they said it would hurt competition. I was in favor of it, as you know, back then, because I said eventually Spirit Airlines is going to implode because they're not making any money. And one bad thing happens, they're gone because they're tottering and they're losing billions, and you can't stay in business. And JetBlue wanted to absorb them, which is another discount airline, but reasonably financially stable. And they wanted to absorb them in and save those jobs. And that to me made sense. But of course, the libtards crashed it. Let's get to Pete Buttigieg, then Transportation Secretary, total phony, cut 10, 23.
My constituents and American people stand for the benefit of free market competition. More flights and more options means lower prices and better service. Mr. Secretary, I am increasingly concerned by your department's actions that result in protecting 80% of market share among the 4 U.S. carriers. Do you believe that maintaining the status quo is a result of your opposition to the JetBlue-Spirit merger?
Well, if we want competition, then we have to have fidelity to our watchdog role when it comes to mergers. After all, by definition, a merger means that there will be fewer competitors than there were before the merger. I could not concur with the description of this as a novel regulatory.
Yes. Can I just ask a quick question? You're saying that we have 4 major carriers that represent 80% of the traffic, and adding another one would stop competition?
By definition, a merger doesn't add a company, it removes it.
By definition, a merger also gives the other 4 a competition that they don't have presently of 80%.
So our role is to make sure that there is more competition, not less, and we will only act to prevent a merger if there is a determination that a merger would harm competition.
Okay, so let me ask, so in other words, we have 4 major airlines representing 80% of the traffic, and you're saying another competition would be what? Would not be competition? I'm trying to understand the math, because
think of it in terms of
add another carrier, national carrier.
You're taking
give more competition to the 4 that right now.
My point is taking 2 airlines and turning them into 1 could mean less competition.
We're talking about the smaller. How can they compete with the policies you're now looking at? How will you allow them to compete in this market in which 4 right now control it?
Well, part of what we're doing to support them is steps like this that police the trend toward consolidation, so that we don't end up with, by the end of this, we could be down to Coke and Pepsi. If all of the airlines merge, you could wind up with just 2. It's hard to picture that being a positive outcome for competition.
Imbecile. Spirit Airlines, if they had been absorbed by JetBlue would have been a stronger discount airline and those jobs would have been saved. But these are the imbeciles that we have to deal with, or we did deal with back then, that we're not dealing with now. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. I was not in favor of the government bailing out Spirit Airlines. They failed. I'm sorry. It sucks. I'd like to save the jobs, but the government is not in the business of bailing out companies that fail, period. And so I was opposed to that. For the merger, opposed to another bailout. You just don't bail companies out. We either have a free market system or we don't. John Fredericks Media Network. Al Buxton running for state senate in Pennsylvania. If you don't like rhinos, he's going to be your guy. I'll be right back.
In those answers, you're invisible. Red State Marketing, well, they fix all that. American-built SEO for American businesses. Get your free order today at redstatemarketing.com/JFRS.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Ponder this. Imagine for a moment that you are lying on your deathbed. This is a great exercise to do each day in preparation for your very last day on earth. Think about the tests you've ever taken, the job interviews you've had, and the many life celebrations you've been a part of. In all of these cases, preparation makes for successful outcomes. The same is true for dying. We must prepare every day for the day we are to die, in case today might be our last. Make sure you are right with the Lord first and foremost. If you are a Catholic, make sure you are in the state of grace by receiving the sacrament of confession often. Next, make sure you are right with your family, friends, and all those who are in your world. Apologize to those who have offended you and mend relationships that need healing. Make each day a preparation for your last day on earth, because it just may be. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Mike, at any point in your coaching career, did you ever have an interest or express an interest in being a head coach in the college game? And do you have any idea how that may or may not have led to folks like Ryan and Doug Whaley and Carson Palmer connecting you to some college jobs?
Hey, guys, I don't have time for that speculation. I mean, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? That'll be the last time that I address it. And not only today, but moving forward. Never say never, but never. Okay? Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? There's not a booster with a big enough blank check. Anyone else? All right. Thank you. Anybody asking Sean Payton about that? You know, anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Yeah, you got him. Thanks for being with us. I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, Truth and Clarity, right here. We're the voice of the people, and we want to hear from you. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. The segment brought to you by my great friend, Glenn Story of Patriot Mobile. I love Glenn Story. I love their vision. I love what they've done. 2 for 1, BOGO, baby. Every single time they make a profit, part of that goes to Christian conservative causes. I love what they do. I know what they stand for. I don't know what these other companies stand for. I know what Glenn Story stands for, but I know that he's got the best service. Look, I got 3 phones here. I run my companies on them here. It says 1, 2, 3. Got 3 phones, right? Plus my sat phone when I travel. That's how I run the company on these phones. I have to get great service. I have to be connected. I have to know what's going on. I have to be able to move on a dime. And I have to trust my carrier. And that's why I love Patriot Mobile. And the BOGO is brilliant because I get 2 carriers for the price of 1, right? You pick 2, they're on the same towers. You get 5 bars, you're great. Then you get 2 bars. The other carrier's got 5 bars. It switches over immediately. Brilliantly done, Glenn. Brilliantly done. Also, free activation with promo code Godzilla. You save $35 there. You get the BOGO. The service is phenomenal. The prices are lower you're going to pay with these other creepy phone companies. The best thing out there. You got to get engaged. And it's easy to change because you keep everything on your phone. Nothing on your phone changes. And everything is done over the cloud. It takes about 15 minutes. Over the phone, they do everything, boom, done. Got your photos, got your email, everything. Nothing changes except price goes down and service goes up. And part of your profit goes to Christian conservative causes because we know what they stand for. Biggest no-brainer in the history of man. All you got to do is go to patriotmobile.com, patriotmobile.com, or call 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT. Speak with somebody from Dallas who speaks English. They're just a great company and they're great people. And you're going to love every minute of it and you're going to save money. PatriotMobile.com, PatriotMobile.com. Promo code Godzilla. Get you all the savings. Or give them a call, 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT. Bet the over-under. Will they answer in 4 rings or less? Bet the under. You'll win every single time. PatriotMobile.com, 972-PATRIOT. Okay, let's get to my favorite candidate here for state senate, running against a do-nothing rhino in Greene County area and Washington County, Pennsylvania, Al Buckton. Al, great to have you with us.
Really appreciate you having me on here today.
Al, tell our national audience, because they don't know, like, where's Greene County, where's Washington County. Tell us in Pennsylvania where you are, who you're running against, and for state senate, and why.
We are in the southwest corner of Pennsylvania, about 50 miles south of Pittsburgh, close to Morgantown, West Virginia. We are Greene County, Washington County, and there's a small portion of Beaver County. We're on that West Virginia panhandle right there. So my reason for running is I'm a business person. And over the last, I'm going to say, mainly after 2020, it's really gotten bad. They shut us down, and that really hurt the businesses, and they're still recovering. So that is my main focus of running, is to try to revitalize our business industry here. It's just depleted, which is also depleting our population. We went from about 275 to 80,000 residents. We're down to Greene County was at 43,000. They're down to 31,000. Washington County was at 225,000. They're down to 205,000. Caveat there. It went up because of the Haitians that they put in Charleroi. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's about 207,000, and then there's a small portion in Beaver. So, we're losing tax base, we're losing businesses, cost of living is up. I think I would be the right person to fix this. And that's what we need. We need a business person in there, not a yes person, a go along to get along person. That's not me. I'm nobody's puppet. People want to donate to my campaign. That's fine. Donate to it. Doesn't mean I'm beholden to you. I'm going to do what's right for the constituents of the 46th district.
Now, tell me, who's there's an incumbent. You're running in
Yes.
a Republican primary. That's what is that? May 9th.
May 19th.
May
Yes.
19th, Pennsylvania Republican primary. Your incumbent has been there for a while. Tell me who she is and why you're running to oust her.
Her name is Camera Bartolotta DeWeese. She married Bill DeWeese. He used to be a House rep. He was the Speaker of the House here in Pennsylvania. He got into some serious trouble, and he had to serve some time in prison. She married him. He is a Democrat, and he is a lobbyist. That's going to be one of my platforms too, to eliminate that husband-wife lobbyist lobbyist thing. But the problem with her is she's been in there for 12 years. 12 years. And if you look at all of our statistics here, John, unemployment is up higher than the national average. Jobs are down. The wages are down. Cost of living is up. You can go through the whole gauntlet. I have charts and graphs, and these aren't my numbers. These are PA government numbers, and these are federal government numbers too. So I don't make things up. I do a lot of fact checking, and obviously you're a business guy. That's what we do, or we're out of business if we don't know our facts. So the main thing is it's waste. They waste so much money. She just voted to pass a budget that the revenue stream doesn't support. That was last year's. It was $3.3 billion over the revenue stream. Our revenue stream here is $47 billion. They passed a $50.3 billion. Now, the governor is recommending a $53.26 billion budget this year knowing we still only have a $47 billion revenue stream. So we're almost $7 billion upside down. The biggest problem is these people aren't business people to get into these positions, and they don't know how business works. And government is a
Doesn't
business.
Pennsylvania have to balance their budget under constitutional law? You guys can't run a deficit, right?
Right. They are running a deficit. They haven't had a balanced budget. And I can't even remember, to be honest with you, John, in how many years. The budget has not been balanced. So they keep going into this rainy day fund. I think at one time there was about $11 billion into it. It will be exhausted here in the next 2 years. It'll be gone and we will be upside down. So what is the alternative to that? Raise more taxes, create new revenue streams.
Right.
So they just don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, to be honest with you.
Well, I tell you what, we've got enough rhinos in there that don't really do anything and don't get anything done. You know, when I was there and I lived in Pittsburgh, we own I think 4 radio signals in that area.
Right.
I mean, I could never get the state senator to return a phone call.
No.
And I was right in her area. I couldn't get her to come on my show. And I remember asking her one time, I saw her at an event and I said, Senator, why don't you come on? She says, I don't need to do media. Think about that. I don't need to do media.
I talk to everybody.
I'm in a Republican district. I don't need to do media. Okay, so you don't talk to people? I mean, is that because you're in a red district, R plus something, therefore you don't have to do media, you don't have to talk to people? I mean, if that's your attitude, you need to go.
She needs to go. 100% she needs to go. My thing is, I knocked on 198 doors Saturday, and the majority of those people don't even know who she is. So hence, let's hide. Let's not do media. Let's not get out and do town halls. I do every town hall I possibly can. For instance, John, I did a town hall the other day, and my advisors are like, that's too long. That's too long. I answered questions for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I don't hide from any questions. I will answer all of them. Unfortunately, she's a chicken shit and she won't answer them.
Well, that's
sorry about that.
And look, I commend you for answering questions for 2.5 hours. And I get your advisors, they're afraid that, somebody will ask the question the wrong way and they do a video up and they put it up on social media.
Sure.
And, we just have a bad moment. But I tell you what, it's worth the risk if you're able to engage with your constituents and talk to them. And that's how you're going to get elected. That's how you win this race. And that's how you build something. And hiding from your constituents and just doing sound bites and controlled videos on TikTok where you have a script that you're reading, the hell's that do?
Yeah, that doesn't do anything. I have really good speech writers, John. I got to be honest with you. They're PhDs and stuff like that. They write the most beautiful speeches. You know how many I've used over the last 9 months?
How many?
0. That's not me. I'm a construction guy. I'm a business guy. I want to be honest with what I'm saying. I'm not the politician that's going to speak, that language that the politicians speak. I'm going to speak to you straight about the issues and the solutions to those problems. That's what I'm about. So I really commend the speech writers, but like I said, I never do a speech that's written.
What is your main issue? I mean, as far as Doug Mastriano is on my show every week, Doug's main issue in Pennsylvania is the budget is ridiculous, right? It overspends, underperforms, and he doesn't want to do that. But other than that, what you mentioned, what is the number one change you want in Pennsylvania?
It's for us to be more business friendly. We're not. You have businesses, I have businesses. I do most of my business in Morgantown, West Virginia. And the reason being because it's cheaper. It's cheaper down there to do business. And if I had it to do over again, I would have moved my businesses down there because the cost of doing business is cheaper. Workers' comp rates are lower. You can go down the line. Unemployment rates are lower. The tax rates lower. Everything is lower down there. Not to mention, I have a equipment rental company we use a lot of fuel. Fuel price is way lower down there because they jack our fuel price up through the taxes. Everybody's blaming Trump. But in reality, this tax that we have here in our fuel, it's hurting people. I think we just surpassed California today. So if you have a business, where are you going to go? You're not going to go here to set up shop. You're going to go to another state. So that's my biggest thing. And to get into being business friendly, how do we create our economy? We have to be business friendly. We have to create those jobs, grow those businesses. That means you're growing your economy, you're growing your population, because your population is getting good paying jobs. They're going to stay here. I mean, it's just one thing after the other. It all hinges on business friendly, and we're not. Just real quick, I have a $1 billion developer. He's waiting to come in. I talked to him yesterday. He's like, I want you to get in. You need to get in because you know business and I know business. I said, David, I will do what I can. He said, the reason I will not come in, he said, because I asked for help on a development. They charged me $1 million for an earthquake study in Pennsylvania. He's not coming back. That just destroys the bottom line. So they're not familiar with business. It's the bottom line.
Well, we need to help our small businesses grow. And when you outline the outflux of people in the Senate district, what district is it again? 48?
It's 46, the 46th district.
46. When you outline the mass exodus of people, it's because there's no jobs there. That's why people leave. They leave when there's no jobs. Al.
No jobs. There's no jobs, and the jobs that are here, I condemned my opponent the other day because she's going to these job fairs. I said, well, that's fine. The job fairs are fine, but there's no jobs here for them. I just, everything is backwards here. Again, these people don't know business. And when people tell you government isn't a business, they're part of the problem, because it is a business. It's all about dollars and cents.
Right. All right. Let's Al want to take your calls. You can call from anywhere in the country. He's running for state senate, and that is in District 46 in Pennsylvania. He's running against a 12-year Republican incumbent, part of the Rhino set, and that primary is May 19th, so it's coming up in 2 weeks, right? So you got 2 weeks.
That is correct.
2 weeks to go, right? So you got things going
2
on.
weeks.
888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. You want to ask Al a question, be happy to answer it. 888-480-5646. Happy to take your calls. Al, I want to talk a little bit about gambling in Pennsylvania.
Sure.
And two things. One thing that I adamantly oppose, and I know we stopped it in Virginia. Now they're trying to do it in Washington, D.C., where I live, which is this iPhone gaming thing, which turns every phone into a casino. It's addictive. It destroys families. If you're in the state Senate, are you going to squash that?
Yeah, I'm not. I have some issues. I have some young kids, and they get on their phones, and it's kind of why I believe that society is so twisted right now. What I mean by twisted is they don't have the social skills that we had growing up, because they're like this constantly. Communication. When I was on the school board, we eliminated cell phones in the school district, and everything went up. Scores started going up. I mean, their social skills went up. So that goes hand in hand with this, with the digital gaming. I've never gambled. I'm not a gambler. I work too hard for my money. And people get sucked into that, and it is addictive. I would not be a part of that. Nope.
Good for you.
100%.
I do gamble all the time. I run a picks and analysis website called Godzilla Wins. I did have a loser last night in Tampa Bay. That game sucked. 35 shots on goal. We score one goal. How do you lose that game? Right? Unbelievable. Canadians were tough though. That goaltender was unbelievable. I'm opposed to casinos on phones. I think that's just a horrible idea. So I'm happy that
it really is.
You're not there now. Other things I'm fine with. The games inside convenience stores in Pennsylvania, they're regulated, so I have no problem with that. Help small business as long as they're regulated. Everybody knows what's going on. State gets a piece. I'm fine with that. Let's get to the phone calls. Cheryl in Washington, PA. Cheryl, you're live with Al.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, how are you? Good. Hi. I just wanted to thank you. I think you're running a very impressive campaign throughout the delays that you've had with, the court cases and all that. But, two questions for you. Number one, property tax reform. It's been said, for a long years, we want to get rid of property tax, blah, 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 blah. What's your stand on that? And number two, with the price of gasoline, I paid $4.69 this morning. Do you see you taking a reprieve from the tax? Because we're paying 80 cents a gallon, for that tax. Do you see? What's your stance on that too?
So we'll do the last one first. The gas tax is part of the revenue stream that they've created because of the budget being upside down, and it's just going to keep going up. So my plan is to go in and get rid of the waste. We do have 3 refineries here. We have 280,000 barrels a day. So it's not about logistics and not having the gasoline here or the diesel here. That's not it. My opponent thinks that's it, and she's just wrong. But I will definitely be cutting the waste on that. And then it goes to, they don't know what they're doing as far as the redundancies in the government. Our government is too big. It needs cut down. So they're always looking for a new revenue stream to get money to substantiate and to support these massive budgets. So that I will definitely be heavily involved with to cut that down, especially when we go right across the border to West Virginia, who's taking 2.7 billion gallons of fuel. Think about that. That's a lot of revenue from us. That's people going to West Virginia, Maryland, and the surrounding states who all have lower gas than us. So I want to bring that back to here, which is going to be, it's bulk. It's bulk. We could lower, if we get them back, we could lower that tax. And that's the truth. I'm sorry, what was the first one?
About property tax reform. There's been a lot of talk in the past couple of years, and nothing's been done.
Well, getting back to the casinos. So when we all got sold the bill of goods that the casinos were going to go to lower the property tax, that never happened. My opponent and her cronies, they took that money and they put it into the LSA fund, where it gets strategically placed to people who start 501c3s just out of the blue. And we don't get the tax relief from that. There's a lot of things about tax relief I could go into. One of the main ones, it's the school boards. When I was in the school board, we had about 10 to 17% waste on a $22.5 million budget. So we got that budget down to about 19.5. Sustainable budget. We never raised taxes. Contrary to what my opponent says, we never raise taxes, and that's documented. But if I can go through and consolidate some of these 500 school districts that have low census, you're looking at a lot of money. You're looking at your taxes going way down. I mean, I could consolidate one school district in Greene County. There's 3 actually, and it would save $12 million a year. Your millage rate would be cut in half. I think that's a pretty good start, don't you?
Yes.
If I could cut your taxes, your school property taxes in half, would you be happy?
Oh, very much so. Very much.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right,
Well,
hang on there.
I appreciate that too, and you have a wonderful day, and best wishes for you on the 19th of May, and God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.
Al, I've got a bunch more calls now that you want to take them.
Sure.
I've got to get top of the hour. Can you just hang with us through the break?
I can stay here as long as you want.
All right, Al Buchter with us, running for U.S. Senate, Pennsylvania, against Rhino. opponent, been there 3 terms, time for change. And he is in the 46th district. That primary is going to be on May 19th. So it's a couple weeks away in Pennsylvania. We got Bernie, we've got Matt, in Waynesboro. You guys hang in there through the break. We'll get right to you. You want to ask a question to Al, 888-480-5646, 888-480-JOHN. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
7.7, 92.7 FM, AM 820, and WJFB Portsmouth, AM 1650.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Amrit Kamasan. America's mayor is sidelined by a health.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has been hospitalized and is in critical condition. That's according to spokesman Ted Goodman for the former Trump advisor. Goodman didn't say what sent the 81-year-old to the hospital or how long he's been there. Giuliani earned the nickname America's Mayor for helping unite the nation following the September 11th attacks. Giuliani was previously hospitalized last September after suffering a fractured vertebra and other injuries in a car crash in New Hampshire. I'm Haya Panjwani.
European leaders say President Trump's decision to withdraw thousands of U.S. troops from Germany is fresh proof that Europe must take care of its own security. The Pentagon announced last week that 5,000 troops would leave, but the president later said the number would be higher. President Trump's Project Freedom is underway, helping ships pass unmolested through the Strait of Hormuz. Some tense moments the other day at a major airport in the Northeast.
Authorities say the United Airlines passenger jet was arriving from Venice, Italy, when it hit a light pole on the New Jersey Turnpike Sunday afternoon. It was about to land at Newark Liberty International Airport. The plane was carrying 221 passengers and 10 crew members. It landed safely, and the airline says no one on the plane was injured. New Jersey State Police say a landing tire and the underside of the plane also hit a truck. The driver of the truck had minor injuries. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. I'm Mike Hempen.
A shooting at a party at a lake near Oklahoma City has sent at least a dozen people to hospitals. It happened late last night near Arcadia Lake in the Oklahoma City suburb of Edmond. There have been no arrests. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 137 points. NASDAQ futures up 30 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
European leaders are meeting amid the ongoing wars in Ukraine and the Mideast.
The European political community is gathering together to meet here in Yerevan, Armenia. It's still a relatively new format, but its purpose is very similar to the European Union, where leaders of heads of state and government gather together and talk about issues. Now, the EU has 27 members. Here, there are around 50 heads of state and government that meet around the big table to talk about all kinds of issues and conflicts. Speaking of conflicts, the conflict of the U.S. and Iran, well, Iran's border is very close to here, and that'll probably be just one of the many issues that people talk about when they gather around the big table.
That's correspondent Mark Carlson. Ukraine has launched a wave of strikes against Russia's oil export infrastructure, hitting a key loading port on the Baltic Sea and 3 tankers. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, now for something really different.
In Germany, an art installation features robot dogs with lifelike heads.
Some include tech titans Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Others, artists Picasso and Warhol. They roam around a rink at Berlin's Neue National Gallery. It's the brainchild of artist Beeple.
In the past, our view of the world was shaped in part by how artists saw the world. How Picasso painted changed how we saw the world. Now, our view of the world is shaped by tech billionaires who own powerful algorithms that decide what we see and what we don't see.
The work was first shown at Art Basel, Miami. I'm Julie Walker.
7 OPEC member countries, including Saudi Arabia and Russia, say they've decided on a modest increase in oil production starting in June. It's part of a commitment to market stability. The commitment to raise production by 188,000 barrels per day. More on these stories at townhall.com.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Buddy Carter, warrior, great guy.
President Trump and Buddy Carter are working to help Georgians keep more of what they earn by passing the largest tax cut in history, eliminating taxes on tips and overtime, and making the child tax credit permanent.
Buddy Carter, warrior, great guy.
From day one, Buddy Carter has stood with President Trump on his mission to make life more affordable for working families. But while President Trump and Buddy Carter were protecting our wallets, Congressman Mike Collins was abusing them. Congressman Collins is under federal investigation for misusing taxpayer funds to benefit himself and his cronies. According to the investigation report, Congressman Mike Collins, quote, may have violated federal law by shelling out government funds to one of his top aides. Georgia families have had enough of wasteful, corrupt career politicians. We just can't trust or afford Mike Collins. Paid for by Buddy Carter for Senate.
I'm Buddy Carter, and I approve this message.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
This show knows things before anybody else is transmitting it. I said 5 minutes after we make a deal, the price of crude oils can go down $20 a barrel. Well, it went down $20 a barrel today.
It did.
15 days from now, and if it looks like we have a good deal, it'll go down another $25 a barrel.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
And that's a good sign for us, obviously, and for the free world.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
John Fredericks.
It is the most.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
No, it's great to have you back. We got more of Al Buckton coming up, plus your calls. Right, it's a very interesting race running in District 46 in Pennsylvania. You say, what does that have to do with me if I'm in Atlanta or West Virginia or Nashville? Well, it has a lot because he's taken on one of the rhinos there, entrenched incumbent, been there forever. When I tried to get her on my show when I lived there, she was very nice, but she said, I don't do media. I'm like, why? She said, well, I don't have to. I'm in a Republican area. I don't have to. Okay, you don't have to do media. You don't have to talk to people because you happen to be in a Republican area. It doesn't sit. It never sat well with me. Now, Al, trying to bring business sense to Pennsylvania. He'll be an ally of Doug Mastriano. I'll guarantee you that if he gets into the state senate. This primary coming up on May 19th in Pennsylvania. So if you live in Washington County, Greene County, or a little bit of Beaver County, then look out for his name on the ballot, Al Buckton. He's going to be taking your calls because he does like town halls and they all want him to leave, and he doesn't do it because he wants to talk to people. What a novel concept. 888-480-JOHN. Now, let's hope he does that after he's elected, right? Al, right? You got to keep doing this. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. This segment, being that he's right by West Virginia, is brought to you by our great friends at Hope Gas. And, West Virginia's for hope. Great state. I'd like to move there, but Nan doesn't want to. I don't know why. Who knows? Find out why it's time for West Virginia to shine again. West Virginia for Hope. Go to wvsforhope.com. Hope Gas is dedicated to serving their customers in West Virginia like me. We own 9 signals there. Guess what? Guess who services them all? Hope Gas. They're great. I had 2 problems. Both resolved within the same day. One of them, we didn't get to the afternoon, called them up at 1, it was resolved at 5. Now I have radio stations, radio signals. I got to get gas. I got to get power. Hope Gas, man, they're the best. I talk from experience. Now you can learn more about their history. They provide great service to over 160,000 homes and businesses throughout the Mountain State. They proudly serve West Virginia, and they also have the naming rights to the Coliseum. It's now called the Hope Gas Coliseum, where basketball, volleyball play. Been there many times. And so we thank them for that. For more information, you want to go to hopegas.com, hopegas.com. Great people, great service, great company, hopegas.com. All right, we'll get back to Al Buckton running in a primary on May 19th. Al, got a couple phone calls here. Let's get to line 2. Sure. Bernie in Du Bois, Pennsylvania. Bernie, you're on with Al.
Good morning.
Hi, Bernie.
Thank you for taking my call. Hi. I agree with your business outlook. I wanted to pivot to a different topic just briefly, if you could. I was wondering on your thoughts generally on Second Amendment, especially with the problem that they're having with the Democrats in Virginia.
I have a lot of guns. I just want to tell you that. I was at a shoot yesterday. It was fantastic. Nobody is going to, as long as I'm alive, I will protect the Second Amendment with my life. That is very critical. That is I believe one of the most critical amendments of all of them. There's no changes. I will vote for no changes on that. It is as our forefathers put forth. And that's the way it is. I know they want to limit the amount of guns you can get in a month. I go to a lot of gun shows. I buy a lot of guns. I don't believe in that. They want to limit the amount of ammunition you can buy. They want to eliminate the size of your magazines. I don't believe in any of that. We are shooters for sport. And that's obviously the Second Amendment was made for a different thing, for tyranny and everything, but that's never going to change with me. I will not vote for anything on the Second Amendment change.
I hear that. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. It's very encouraging. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Yes, sir.
Let's get to Matt in Waynesboro for Al Buckton. Matt, you're live, line 3.
Hello,
Good
Matt.
morning, John. Good morning, Al. How are you? How are you guys? So
Great.
my question is to you, Al, is with all of the negative mailers, being that I live in Waynesburg, I am in the 46th district, and I receive all these negative mailers from your opponent, calling you a puppet about the gambling and so on and so forth. One of the interesting things I notice about all these mailers is they are all funded by the Pennsylvania GOP. When you get into Senate, how do you plan on navigating the obvious opposition by Senator Greg Rothman, who is the head of the state GOP, and the rest of the state GOP? How do you plan on navigating that? What is your plan to combat that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. They spent $750,000 against me with these mailers for my Rhino opponent, and they all have baggage. These people, I noticed that we've been researching them. Senator Rothman, he had some legal troubles and he evicted, and Governor Randall, he pardoned his record, which is strange to me. But I listen, I will work with anybody. I am not there to make friends. My friends are in the 46th district, and that's what it's all about for me. I have the constituents of the 46th district that I have to answer to, not to Senator Rothman. So I'm nobody's puppet. Anybody knows. They know I won't put up with any bullshit. Anybody. That's just the way it is. I've been doing it for 41 years. I've been negotiating, debating with people my whole life. And it's about my people here. It's about fixing the we have here with the loss of jobs, with our high rate of unemployment, with the high cost of living. But it's about with me. And if they don't get on board with me, I'm going to expose them for what it is. That's for sure. I will expose why they won't make it right. It's a reason. So they have their hands full with me. Now I will work with anybody. And I do have some senators that I really align with closely. Mastrano, as John previously said, Dawn Kiefer. I really think that lady could be the next governor. I really do. Super smart, wet and met her. She is very intelligent and has a good plan, and her heart's in the right place. I mean, if she wants to eliminate these property taxes, whatever she can. She has a good plan. It needs tweaked a little bit, but she has a great plan to do so. So that's where I'm at on that, Matt.
Hey, Matt, let me ask you something, Matt. When you say the mailers were paid for by the Pennsylvania GOP, like what does it say on the bottom of the mailer? Can you actually read that to us? Do you have one handy?
I don't have a mailer in front of me, but they actually say the Pennsylvania GOP is listed on there as who the mailer is coming from, who the mailer is.
So why would the Republican Party of Pennsylvania be spending money in a primary? I thought the Pennsylvania, I thought that any party is supposed to stay neutral in primaries, a party apparatus. You know, it's one thing for
that is correct.
Yeah. So how do they spend $700,000 if they're supposed to stay neutral?
That is correct, John. The thing of it is, they're not staying neutral. They're reason. I mean, listen, corruption in the swamp is deep. It's deep. These people get entrenched in there. They're like, if you've ever been hunting, you get a tick. They are in there. They're in deep. The established people. I'm not in to do a job to make a difference. These people are there for a career. If it doesn't work out for me, I go back to businesses. If it doesn't work out for them, they don't go back to anything because they have nothing else. So that's $750,000 that they're spending is our money that we donated to them, whichever donate again to, and they're using it after a moratorium act was placed, and I believe it was 2000, where it said that you can't use the money against an opponent, a Republican opponent. But so they violated that, and that kind of stuff will be dealt with, I believe, after the primary. I don't want to get into too much of the legalities right now, but it's definitely going to be looked into.
But Matt, what's wrong with that? Beyond that's, they shouldn't do it, because I thought they were supposed to be neutral.
Yeah.
And if you're running a party, Matt, I'm going to address it to our caller, Matt. But Matt,
sure.
This is a Republican district. It's R plus 20 or something. Like a Democrat is not going to win the district. So it'd be one thing to say, Al is less electable. We have to save the seat. She's been there. She's the incumbent. She'll likely keep the seat. Matt, Al puts it at risk. If Sammy the cat ran in that district and put an R by his name, my cat would win. So this is a Republican district. Doesn't mean you're not going to go out there and campaign, but why would you spend $750,000 in a seat you're going to keep in the R category anyway, Matt?
Well, proof that you could put an R next to anyone's name in this district and potentially win is Al's opponent, the incumbent.
True.
The reason that they are spending the money that they are spending against Al in this campaign, my opinion, I could give you the canned answer, or I'll give you my answer. And just as Al says, he's a no BS kind of guy, and neither am I. The reason that they are spending that kind of money is they are protecting the grift, and they want to continue that grift. And if Al gets in there, he will be direct opposition to that grift, and they know it.
All right, Matt, I think you nailed it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for the call, Matt, in Waynesboro. Lively discussion.
Yes, thanks, Matt.
I love the fact that Al's just on here taking whoever calls up. Okay, let's get to Ryan in Cannonsburg. Know just where that is. Been through it many times, going to Morgantown. Ryan in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, wants to ask about skills games. Ryan, go ahead. You're live with Al Buckton.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Good. Yeah, I just had some questions about the skill games that were coming to town, what your thoughts were on that. There's been a lot of questions on the tax on that, and just wanted to kind of get a brief explanation for the folks who don't know. So should they be taxed or not? Also want to know where you stood on the Second Amendment, stuff like that.
These games are fairly new, and skill games are exactly what they are. And what I mean by that, right now it's in the Supreme Court, and they're kind of confused on where they belong. Do they belong in an actual skill game, or do they belong in gambling? So that is held up right now in the Supreme Court. They are being taxed right now, not at the level that some people want them taxed, and that would be your casinos. And the casinos also, it's not only about the taxing, the casinos want to have control of them with their board. So they want to control what happens to the skill games. Now, the skill games, if you ever played chess before, is chess skill or luck? Chess is skill. You're not winning on luck in chess. So if you ever get a chance, go to one of these skill games and try to win just on luck. You're not. So that's hence why the Supreme Court's trying to figure out, okay, where do they fit? So they're trying to put a new category together for them. And listen, I want the skill games to do good, because if the skill games do good, that means W's, the fire halls, the mooses. That means all these people have some type of revenue stream coming in to help them. I want the casinos to do good. I want every business to grow. That is my whole platform. I am not against anybody growing. And believe me, why do we need so many taxes? Our government's too big. We need to cut our government down. I mean, it Doge like you can't even imagine the waste that's in our government. So if we can cut some of this government down and reduce the size of our debt, we don't need all these taxes. We could actually flourish here and grow our businesses and grow our. It's very disappointing to see how these people, what they've done to this, what they've done to our district, not just our district, this whole state. And I pretty much balance my whole platform off of what President Trump did. And he's a very smart guy. They didn't like him at first because of he was a business guy coming in and he was an outsider. I'm telling you what, right now, they've done everything to me that they did to President Trump. They've sued me times in 1 month. They keep coming after me. They put me on radio shows that are liberal, that they don't give me a chance to talk. It's insane. But getting back to the skill games, there's really not enough data out there right now. I support businesses. Yes, I support them. Are they helping the mom and pops in our halls? Yes, they are. So we have to really look at that before we make a judgment to say, okay, just a knee-jerk shit. Getting back to the Second Amendment, I'm pro 100%. There's nobody. I have so many weapons that it's not even funny. I love shooting. I love hunting. And it's not happening. They're not going to change the Second Amendment. They're not coming after our weapons. I'll tell you that right now.
You said you've been sued 3 times. Sued for what?
Yes. Try to get me off the ballot. So September, I moved to Cannonsburg. I love Cannonsburg. It's the heart of the district. So I moved there for a few reasons. My one daughter goes to a county. She has been. So my wife and I were going to move anyway. It all happened at the same time. So we were going to move that area in Washington County. We like the area. I got a place down there. I started renting it. I did everything legally, changed my driver's license registration, all my bills and everything. So, opponent, to get me off of the ballot, she enlisted 3 idiots to go and file an appeal, a claim against me that I don't actually live there. Now I'm still living there. I love it there. We have a realtor. We're actually looking to buy a home there. So they sued me for residency and wanted me off the ballot. Well, the Superior Court judge said, no, he's staying on the ballot for election purposes only. We're moving him back to Greene County. I'm still living there in Washington County. I like what she said. So it went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said the same thing. And so they lost that. So then I get all these certified letters that the Washington County Election Board, they want to remove me from the ballot. That we talked to the Secretary of State, it's like, nah, that's illegal. They can't remove you from a ballot. So, and I'm sure there's one, and it's the lawfare, and I swear to you, John, it's the exact same thing that they did to President Trump. That's why I have such a close relationship, even though I've never been with him, to him, and knowing what he went through. He went through every drawer in my house but my other drawer. That's no kidding. So that's where we're at on that.
I mean,
they just keep suing.
When people are suing trying to get you off the ballot, I mean, it's like ridiculous. I mean, you moved the right way, you qualified, you got the signatures. But look, they don't want competition. They don't want a race. They don't want to have to defend their piss poor record. They don't want to have to defend. They won't talk to people. So now they hide behind mailers and they get the GOP and Rothman, who I'm not a fan of. Look, and I think he's a good state senator, but I said this from day one. Whenever an elected official is in charge of a political party in the state, it goes down the tubes. You can't do it. You can't serve 2 masters. It becomes a very convoluted situation. I saw it with Mark Peake in Virginia. I saw it with Rothman and the whole thing he did with Stacey Garrity.
Yeah.
That made no sense. All he had to do was have a primary. Garrity would
Have
have
a
won the
primary.
primary. She'd have engaged the grassroots. She would have had to go out and campaign. Right now, she doesn't even have to campaign. You have to campaign.
Right.
She would have been out there campaigning, knocking on doors, talking to people. She's a great Trump conservative. They put her in a box with this, with this phony thing that they did 18 months out. This thing is terrible. Let the people decide. Let the voters of the 46th district decide whether they want Al Buckton or not. Let them decide.
Right. So I am for term limits, John. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm for term limits, and the reason being, just for the very thing that you just said, when the PAGOP endorses somebody 10 months ahead of time, they take everybody's voice away. They take away the primary. It's done unless you get somebody like me who doesn't, put up with that and goes against it. Through those lawsuits, it's allegedly that the Republican Party and the casinos paid for the lawyers to go against me. How about that?
Well, that's fair game. I mean, you have a position on that, and the casinos are opposed to it. So that's fair game, right? I mean, you have a position.
Right.
You have to. That's fair game. Independent expenditures are fair game based on what your position is. Trying to get you off the ballot because you moved to be by your daughter is not, and that's why it failed. Al, people want to follow you. I'm running up against the clock. Where do they go?
Buckton4pa.com, and then Buckton for Senate on Facebook. And there's all kinds of links on there. They could get a hold of me. There's emails and Gmails, so appreciate it.
Al, thanks for being with us. Thanks for taking calls. Thanks for our callers. Paul Teller, Rabbi Yaakov Menken on the RAN next.
Appreciate it.
Ponder this. We intake oxygen every time we breathe, and breathing is how we stay alive. When God first created man, he breathed life into him. Our Lord also breathed spiritual life into his apostles and filled them with the Holy Spirit at the first Pentecost. Oxygen is a source of life both physically and spiritually. It's the same with fire. Oxygen is needed in order to keep a fire burning, which begs the question, are you on fire for the Lord, or has your spiritual oxygen been extinguished? To answer this, we must go to the source. The source of our spiritual oxygen is the Lord himself. Without him, there is no life within us. Those are his words, not mine. We are called to tap into this life source by baptism, daily prayer, and receiving the sacraments, especially Holy Communion if you are a Catholic, in the state of grace. If we tap into this life source every day, our lives will be filled with the love of the Lord, our spiritual oxygen. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll. The Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system, but there's only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. The Wellness Company allows you to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits, which contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. The Wellness Company also offers a variety of health products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more, helping you stay healthy and live a longer, better, healthier life. Make America healthy again. That starts at home. So do your part and protect the health of you and your family. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla today and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10%. That's twc.health/Godzilla.
Hey parents, plan an unforgettable summer. Send your kids to Rapid Ann Baptist Camp in Rochelle, Virginia. 1 week of nonstop fun and life-changing truth. Amazing preachers, friendly counselors, exciting activities. Ride an alpine coaster and zip line, a 250-foot water slide, and that's just the beginning. Junior camps for ages 7 to 12, teen camps for 13 to 18, 2-day Pee-wee camp with mom and dad for ages 4 to 8, and a brand new day camp option. Sign up today at camprapidan.com. That's camprapidan.com. Rapid Ann Baptist Camp, where faith and fun collide.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineers sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America.
It's Godzilla!
No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Well, you're back on the John Fredericks Radio Network, TV, everything. We got it. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Thank you. Rabbi Mencken is with us. And do we have Paul Teller? He's with us too. Let's get Rabbi and Paul on, regulars on the John Fredericks Media Network. Paul, where are you today?
Yeah, I was going to say, apologies for the casual dress, the horrible lighting. I'm at the State Financial Officers Foundation conference. Basically, the state treasurers, state auditors are the guys fighting ESG and just other kind of woke corporate policies. So there's a conference down in Clearwater, Florida. Can't complain.
No, you can't complain when you go to Clearwater, Florida for a conference. Rabbi Yaakov Mencken, I know where he is. He's in Baltimore, Maryland, where he's
correct
stationed there at the B-Town, right? Boy, the Orioles losing every day once again. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's almost as bad as the Mets, right? They're a snake bit. Good team on paper. They just keep losing. Something's wrong with the Orioles. I can't figure it out. The Mets are easy to figure out because it's a bad culture. Steve Cohen, just the whole thing is toxic. The clubhouse has been toxic forever. But Orioles got a good young team. They just don't win. They try to retool. Now they're losing again every day. Unbelievable.
By the way, I grew up a huge Yankees fan, so hearing you rank on the Mets is a wonderful, joyous thing.
Oh, they suck. Worst team money can't buy. I've never seen anything like it. Steve Cohen, though, it doesn't matter who the manager is or it's a toxic something in that locker room is wrong. I don't know what it is. I'm not there, but something is wrong. Everybody underperforms. There's no team atmosphere. Cohen has set up this thing where everybody just playing for the 1st and the 15th of the month. But even, they got rid of Pete Alonso and he goes to the Orioles and he's not even making a difference. It's something. You go on the Mets and there's something just bad. It's just bad that's happening. I don't know what it is, but now the Astros, we suck too, but we got half the teams injured, so we get a pass on that. You guys are not here to talk about baseball. Iran gives President Trump a 14-point plan, of which he promptly threw in the garbage. Now he says it's about time. He's going to start escorting tankers through the straits, which I didn't know why they didn't do that a month ago. But now they're finally doing it. I guess they feel we have the right resources in place. Meantime, the chokehold continues. And of course, we got Americans on our side in MAGA complaining because they have to pay an extra $1.50 in gas and they think the world is going to end. Let's go to Paul Teller. What's going on here, Paul?
Well, appreciate it. Yeah, no, you summed it up beautifully. Glad the president is getting out some of those trapped merchants and sailors and ships, because that's the thing too. Some of these folks are just, literally caught in the middle of, in the middle of the water with resources dwindling. So this is like getting out people who, have overflowing, toilets and no food. I mean, that's absolutely the right thing to do. You saw today, Iran is making the fake claim that it hit a U.S. warship. There's just no chance of that. I don't think they have the ability to do that. They hardly have the ability, I think, to put any gas in their own tanks, let alone, shoot anything at us anymore, which is great. And I love that Iran still thinks it's in a position of strength, that it's making these outrageous demands, right? The U.S. has to pull out all of its troops, all its weapons. It can't look at this. It can't do that. Really, that's what happens when you win. But when you're losing and Iran is losing badly, you don't get to make those kind of demands. So, yeah, kudos to President Trump.
Plus, they want reparations.
Again, kudos to them for giving it a shot. I guess, praise to them for, thinking that they're the winners when they're the exact opposite. So, but, they're not getting any of that.
Rabbi, doesn't it remind you of Baghdad Bob when he was saying that the Iraqis were winning the war as tanks were blowing up his building right behind him?
I will say that the demand for reparations is the one that's on a par with most of the other demands for reparations we're hearing today. Just as reasonable, just as honest, just as deserved, as all the other nonsense that we're hearing about reparations today. Look, the Iranians, they should know that they have no cards, but they're acting like, what was it who said, arguing with them was like playing chess with a pigeon, because it doesn't matter how badly it loses, it will knock over the pieces and strut around the board as if it won. These guys have nothing.
That is the best analogy that I've heard.
Yeah,
and it's true.
I'm sorry. Yes, I missed the part about poop on the board, but it's like they have nothing to look forward to except the utter destruction of their oil fields and their ability to provide power and water to their own people, and that's what they're playing against. It's it's like Trump has proven that he's not playing games. It's like, no, he'll never attack. It's not true. It was just a bluff. Trump does not bluff. If you want to play a deal, he wants to make a deal. If you walk away from the table, it's going to happen. Sadly, look, he was playing the same game with Spirit's creditors. Same thing with the airline, right? He said, I'm going to offer you a bailout, but there's got to be a deal here. And they walked away from the deal. You walk away from the deal, you collapse. Same thing just happened is happening to the Iranians. And like you said, it's like anybody who actually cares about is a little bit of a humanitarian. We're talking about ships from countries that have nothing to do with the Middle East, nothing to do with the whole fight going on, completely neutral in this thing. The Iranians want to sink them rather than let them through. And they're against the Americans. I'm talking about the left in America. The left is against the Americans escorting them through so that the poor sailors shouldn't starve and have said, get to shore.
Paul, comment on that. It's like the left and the Democrats are rooting for Iran to be successful and for us to lose or get body bags come home. And they don't want us to escort ships through with people that are running out of food and water and resources. What is going on with this, Paul?
Yeah, and we talked about it on the show, right? Many months, years, weeks, whatever. It's amazing that the left is genuinely wishing for America to lose. In fact, point me to the leading liberal voice or even the average Joe liberal protester we saw on the May Day protest out there saying, go America, beat Iran. They're just not saying that. Nobody, not a single voice. Interestingly, they're also not cheering for the freedom and health and success of the average Iranian person, right? The Iranians who are the Persians, let's call them, right? Persians suffering under a tyrannical regime. Where was the May Day protest in favor of those folks? All it was in favor of Hamas terrorists, right? In favor of anti-Semites, against Jews. No support for actual freedom-loving Iranian people. No support for America to beat the pants off of Iran, which it basically already has. But let's face it, the one thing we really need to still get from the Iranian regime is that total surrender that we've been talking about on this show.
Unbelievable. Where do we go from here? I mean, I don't know how you're going to get these people to surrender if you don't just annihilate them and keep the chokehold on, Rabbi.
You can't. The bottom line is they can't lose. The fight is, the fight with them within America is in a certain way worse, because that Trump can finish the job with Iran. That it's going to get finished under his watch. There's just no way this is going to drag out for too much longer. The Iranians are going to have to buckle. They're going to have to make a deal, or he's going to just continue wiping them out, and then the next guy will make a deal. He's already proven they'll just knock off whoever's in charge to find the next guy to make the deal. In fact, the whole point of this ceasefire was that the Iranians right now can't figure out who's in charge, because all the previous leaders, several echelons down, are now dead. So that's over. The biggest problem we have in America is what Paul was just talking about. Spot on. The American left actually rooting. It's like they decide who is bad first. This is, by the way, this takes us right back to Gaza. The Hamas genocidal terror organization, the left actively supporting Hamas, saying, they'd first decide Israel is causing starvation, and then they try to find facts to support this false narrative about starvation. Thus, the pictures of kids with unrelated illnesses with their fat mothers. It's like nobody's being starved unless you want to claim it's Munchausen by proxy, where this poor Arab mom is starving her child. That's the only way you can explain this kid is starving when mom is fat. Sorry, that's how it works. So what's going on here? Starvation, false narrative, genocide, false narrative, women being raped on a daily basis, and your only contribution is to claim the rescuers are committing genocide. That's a sick person.
Amen.
What's going on in the United States is sick. And they're giving sick people who don't know history and don't know anthropology and don't know human decency degrees from Harvard. That's the biggest problem here. It's not defeating Iran. They're defeating Iran. That's going to happen. It's the Americans who are rooting for Iran. When every Iranian American can tell you exactly how horrible this regime really is. And they're rooting for the terrorists. They're rooting for the murderers. They're rooting for the people who massacre their own people. It's a sickness that's in America.
Amen.
There we are.
So, Paul, this is interesting. You guys are bringing up Paul Teller with us as Teller Strategies. So, Paul, you said the bigger problem is here with the American left and not with the Iranians, they'll eventually collapse.
Isn't that amazing, right?
Frame that, elaborate on that.
Well, it's just, if you think about it, again, I think we'd all agree here, the Iranian regime really has already lost. It just hasn't come to terms with that yet, right? They need to kind of psychologically deal with the fact that they've just been absolutely decimated. It's just a matter of time, I think, before they admit that, and we can have a negotiation with a defeated enemy, not just an enemy, but an enemy that has admitted defeat, kind of like we did with Japan and Germany in World War II. But what's amazing right now is you compare how the American left, and again, those protesters out on the street during those May Day protests, passionately supporting the Gazans, right? Hamas, that kind of thing, because their enemy are the Jews, right? So that makes sense in their narrative. But they're not supporting the Persian people who are actually being oppressed, killed, yearning for freedom, they can't support them, right? Because their opponent is not the Jews. In fact, their ally is the Jews. So that really messes with their narrative. Their opponent, our fellow Muslims, breaks the entire narrative. And authoritarian Muslims, which is, from the left's perspective, the best kind of Muslim is the authoritarian Muslim. That's who they love the most. That's who they want to win in Iran. Really, as the rabbi said, truly sick for those in America and Europe who seem to be promoting that viewpoint.
It's insane. So, Rabbi, I want to get back to you strategically. I got a lot of my callers. We spent almost the entire show on Iran today, and a lot of MAGA very upset. Trump promised no wars. There's not enough people getting deported. He's taking his eye off the ball. Gas prices are up $2. A lot of hand wringing, a lot of whining, a lot of bitching. I have a different view. I think President Trump, his first 18 months has been extraordinary beyond belief. I mean, he's done so much. It's incredible. But, people don't have patience. They want what they want. And so there's a lot of hand wringing over this war. And people, all I hear about is gas. When it was $5 was gas under Biden, nobody talked about it. Now, all of a sudden, we're all going to die because gas went up $1.50. I mean, how does this translate into Trump holding on through the midterms?
Look, politics is not really, I do policy over politics, and I say that all the time because there's certain things that just reasonable people ought to believe. If you look, there was a joke going around that the Arab countries supporting the United States in this war against Iran are countries like the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. The Arab countries that are opposed to the United States are places like Great Britain, France, and Italy. Like, hello, it's like we are watching a takeover that is now coming to America of people who do not support what America is supposed to stand for. Why would you move for a country that's opposed to everything you believe? Oh, only because you think you can take over. There are people who are moving here who are actively hostile to what America is about and America stands for. And that's something America never allowed to happen before. And that's completely taken over Europe. And which is exactly, by the way, why synagogues are essentially no-go zones. It's horrific what's going on over there. And there's nobody who thinks it's like now it's actively, in Great Britain, there were 2 people stabbed in Golders Green while there was a group touring Auschwitz. And a rabbi described how he had to sit down the kids and tell them, right after they toured the gas chambers at Auschwitz, that they need to call home and find out if their fathers are okay because 2 men were stabbed. Think about that for a minute. It's a horrific what's happened over there. But meanwhile, Iran has completely upended the calculus of what works in America because now all of a sudden the Kuwaitis are realizing the Israelis are their friends. The Israelis moved missile batteries to defend the UAE when they needed their batteries for to defend their own people. It's amazing.
Why they
the Israelis actually gave up on missile batteries because they figured UAE was going to be more of a target than their own, even though they really needed them at home. It's amazing stuff. And that's the sort of, defending American civilization to all the people who say, why did Trump start this war? What do you want to wait for? For Iran to actually have a nuclear bomb?
Yes.
Yeah, then you're going to be doing great.
Right.
I mean, it's like, these are the people who figured that bringing down the Twin Towers was a good thing. Don't forget that. That's who these people are. They want to murder as many Americans as they can get away with. The reason why they're going after Israel is not only because they go after the Jews first, but it's also because they go after Western civilization in the first place they can find. They're the local democracy. So that's where they're getting it first. Just think about what the Iranians have stood for. Why is it that Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and UAE are all cheering on Trump when he does this? It's because of how dangerous the Iranians are. And by the way, for all the gas price problem, look at the stock market. American businesses are flourishing under Trump despite this going on. So just imagine how it's going to be when it's over.
That's
all.
Well, that's what I've been saying. I mean, all we got to do is wait this thing out. The business is booming. GDP is up. Inflation is tamed outside of gas. Let's put gas in a box because that's global. The one big beautiful bill. People are getting refunds. No tax on tips overtime. They got money in their pocket. The small businesses are just exploding. When this thing's over, Paul, this economy is going to explode like crazy.
Yeah, no question. All the seeds are right there, right? And like you said, God willing, this gas price increase, because it's a global market, it is temporary. It doesn't mean people aren't hurting now. Yes, people are hurting now, no question. We should acknowledge it. Businesses are hurting. It's not good to pay those prices, especially overnight, right? That price jumped practically $1 overnight. Not good, right? Because you can't prepare for it, can't budget for it, the whole thing. So yes, that has to come down. But actually, I would also argue it speaks to let's get even more American energy out of our soil, out of our waters, right? So that we're even more insulated from that global market for future such shocks and stuff like that. It speaks to let's do even more, American mining, processing, refining, shipping, of American energy here in America, and exporting it, of course, to our friends who need it worldwide. So you don't have to depend on the Russias, the Chinas, or shipping lines through unfriendly territories. So yeah, I think you're taking the exact right message. The seeds are there for a good economy. Hopefully some more of these tariffs can be turned off. I think we've talked about that before. That would help businesses and individuals even more. And we can really have a soaring economy the rest of the year and beyond.
What does Trump need to do right now in the Straits?
Just keep escorting the ships through. Make sure that the Iranians don't attack anybody. Get the shipping running again. That's going to bring down the oil prices. It's going to be fair to the sailors. It's going to do, it's just a win situation. And it's a lose for the Iranians because the Iranians wanted to charge tolls. They want to have a fight. It's like if they attack one of those ships, it's under U.S. protection, much less if they attack the U.S. ships. Trump's got to let loose. It just, right. It has to be the less. Sadly, these are guys, the whole strategy of mowing the grass. Well, how did that work in Gaza? That's what led us to the disaster that was October 7th. Like, you just allow these guys to plan and plot and rebuild. That can't be allowed to happen. The Iranians have to change for real.
Amen. Right. Can't just be promises, right? Can't be, we really, cross our heart, hope to die, promise never to do, build a nuclear weapon, right? It's got to be the anything that is left that hasn't been destroyed that could be used for a nuclear weapon has to be transferred over to us or destroyed in front of us, or we destroy it, or whatever it is. It can't just be, a pinky swear, and blood promises and stuff like that.
The monitors have to be allowed to wander the country freely. It's, it's like, it's straight. Look, I remember when it was the Iraqis creating the problem. Remember Saddam Hussein? It's like a rabbi teacher of mine very prophetically said during the Iran-Iraq war, he said they should both lose. It's very sad, but here we are. I mean, these two countries are not, they're not contributing to the world. They're destroying the world. That's their contribution.
All right, Paul, final word, and we got to go. Why didn't President Trump and our Navy start escorting these ships a month ago? Why did we wait so long?
That's a good question. And I'll admit I'm no naval expert. I'm guessing, alluding to what the rabbi was saying before. I think they were first needed to get the assets in the region to be able to escort these types of ships. Because from what I understand, they're not getting personal military escorts ship to ship. They're more kind of securing certain zones and allowing then these merchant vessels to move through. And I think they also needed a system to figure out, how do you know which ship is kind of a good guy and which is a bad guy, and making sure, they're not faking it and things like that. So they need to get few systems in place first. Guys, we got to go. Paul, people want to follow you. Where do they go? Appreciate it. Tellerstrategies.com or on X @PTeller, PTELLER. Always good to be with you. Rabbi?
At Y Mencken for myself personally, or at CJ Values on your social media.
Guys, thanks for being with us. As always, very lively day, very lively discussion we've had all day. Very exhausting, to be honest, guys, for me. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Good stuff. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys. Well, that's it for the John Fredericks Media Network. Michael Patrick Leahy is up next, or I think he's got a stand-in today. I think he's traveling, but his show's coming up next, and everything on the John Fredericks Network.